Dude, okay. Greyson. The heck, bro.
Text him, dude.
Oh, there he is. So late.
So late, dude.
Greyson.
His camera's not on. His mic's not on, dude.
I know.
He's totally freaking out right now.
He's totally freaking out. He had to take another shower.
Yeah, he probably did.
He's like, oh, I gotta take a shower after my shower.
He's got to make up for the showers you don't take. Oh, he can't even hear us.
Idiot.
Dude, what a
You say he's
doofus.
making up for the showers I don't take?
Yeah. Exactly, dude.
Dude, I had the option last night. I fixed, well, it's in the moment. I fixed, they put the camera in, or he put the piano in there.
Tight.
But anyway, I was fixing some water system pipes. It was getting all sweaty and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I came in and did whatever. It was about bedtime, and I was like,
if you're about to say you didn't shower,
I could go to bed now. I could. But then I should shower.
What does Shayla think about you not showering?
I don't think she knows. I just generally don't stink much. So
or
like
she likes your stink.
Well, maybe, but like, yeah. Do I gotta pee again? Maybe, but maybe I'll use it to fuel my...
No, go to the bathroom now.
No, dude.
He might be on any second.
I know. I'm not going to give in to that, bro.
He's like, just show up 13 minutes
I'm
early.
not a
Come on.
slave to my own body.
There are so many different directions that I could take that right now. And yes, you are.
Do it.
What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about, dude?
Dude,
Bro.
I'm hungry now again.
Bro.
Dude, I had leftover bourbon pasta from last night. It was so good.
Dude, it looked great.
I had leftover tri-tip, but everybody wanted some, so we each got like 2 pieces.
That's
I had
the
3.
worst.
What were you gonna say, Jared?
Sharing.
Are we talking about dinner? What was I gonna say?
Slave to your body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, you are definitely a slave to your body, Blake, because anytime you take more than 3 bites, you have to run to the bathroom immediately.
It's a choice.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a choice.
I'm allowing my body to do that, but it doesn't go until I tell it.
Yeah, I'm 100% certain you allow it to do that.
Yeah, dude.
There's no urgency at all.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but there hasn't been a Blake camera in a while.
Oh, you fixed it? Or did you get a new camera?
No, I fixed it.
You got your soldering iron out?
Yeah.
In a while, dude, it was last week.
No, dude, I had it fixed last week, but it was the week before I didn't have it
I
fixed.
caught you in a lie.
We haven't podcasted in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I caught him in a lie, dude. It definitely wasn't last week. We didn't podcast last week, dude.
I think he's saying he fixed it last week.
I fixed it before our last podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like the weekend before Shayla went on the trip.
Where we're done.
I am going to go grab my monster stuff, though.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
go
that's a good
to
idea.
the bathroom, dude. Go to the bathroom.
Quick.
Should I go grab my monster too?
Yes. What are you guys doing?
Bro, I'm not going to rip a monster right now.
Go get it. Are you going to have it at all?
Maybe tomorrow.
Oh. It's up to you. I got mine. Blake's got his. So.
Dude, no. I'm going to be on Don Clark's side, dude. He said no way he's drinking a monster this late.
I'll be so jacked.
Yeah, dude. You're going to be up till like 3 a.m. You're going to text us at 2 a.m. and be like, hey, you guys want to goop?
I'm sweating right now.
Dude, why are you so sweaty?
You know what? I don't do good in this climate. I was meant for other places.
Oh, dude, I just plugged in and he's here.
Oh, no, dude. Hold on.
I'm going to admit him.
Hold on. No,
Why?
dude, don't do it. We don't want him.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Okay.
just text him real quick. Be like, no, dude, it's
Here,
off.
I'm going to press it. Shut up.
I'm not shutting up.
Dude, shut up. Shut up. Be cool.
Shut up. Be cool. Be cool.
Be cool. Shh.
Shut up. Be cool.
What's up, dude?
What's up? How's it going?
Welcome,
Man,
man.
how are you doing?
Good, man. Sorry, I'm 10 minutes early. Do you need to talk without me?
Nope. We just been chilling, been on, doing all the stuff.
We have not been chilling. We're all nerding out pretty good. We've been freaking out.
I was just testing my the mic and everything. So yeah, good to see you guys.
Heck
You
yeah.
too.
Are you set up in your studio, or is that a background of your studio?
This is my studio, sadly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
No,
dude,
real.
it's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I work on a Foley stage, as you may know, and my Foley artist partner usually takes our team Zoom meetings like on the Foley stage, and people are always like, "Oh, is that a background?" And she's like, "Yep," and or she says no, and she takes something on her desk and like throws it so they can see it's a thing. And so I do the same in mine, but I have like a screen, or just a wall behind me, so I usually take something, just throw it, and it just bounces off the wall, and it gets a good laugh.
That's amazing. People do ask actually if it's fake a lot because it's that crazy. It's like seriously, a grown man would do that? You know?
That's
No.
awesome.
No, it's super awesome.
Well lit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think because it is so well lit, it almost looks like it could be,
for sure.
green screen. Or
Well, yeah.
whatever.
Usually I'm like I have these bright lights in here. They're usually off, but since it's night, I've got them on so that is you can see like the glare of my screen and my glasses.
Yeah,
so apologies, but
No
same,
worries.
Same.
Yeah.
How long do you have tonight, Don? We probably could go for as long as you want or as little as you
Yeah.
want, but I want to be.
I'm cool, man. Whatever you
Okay.
guys, however long you guys want to go.
We're gonna Joe Rogan this then. No, I'm just kidding.
3 hours.
Yeah, we're diving deep.
We are known to do that, but it's usually just the three of us for 3 hours. Just
We
being,
won't go. We won't
being
go that
stupid,
long.
but we will not go that long.
And not all of us want to go 3 hours for the record. Okay.
Jared's usually worried about bedtime.
Yeah.
No, I'm right there, man.
Told you guys. I told you he's a grown adult with
grown adult man.
responsibilities.
Yeah. We all
I'm rarely up past 10. I mean, for real.
Okay.
But I also get up early, so.
Yeah. Are you on our time zone right now? Are you at 8:22? Did we just
We are
fix
now,
that?
yeah. So,
Okay.
Arizona's the wild card state that doesn't,
Yep.
So, when we first moved here, it was weird just trying to figure that out. But now,
Right.
now I just say we're on PT just to make, Pacific Standard Time to just make it easier on clients and stuff. But,
yeah. Cool. Well, cool. I know we met at the For Evergreen screening, but this is Greyson, who's my brother, and then Jared,
what's
who's
up, dude?
been our best bud for the last 30 some years. So
Nice.
we started just this, kind of whiskey themed media, art, music podcast
Super cool.
called Threshold, and we like interviewing cool people, doing cool stuff, and trying drinks and stuff, and we did.
Oh, dude, I'm doing it too.
Dude, I'm sorry. I should have got one. This is what I get for making a joke
Oh, dude,
and,
it's okay.
not going all the way through.
So
we
I'm
grew
not
up
going.
monster people, so
Oh yeah, we grew up at like a Warped Tour with Monster and stuff.
free
of
monsters
course.
truck.
All the time,
Of
dude.
course.
So I didn't
That's
want to
hilarious,
go.
dude.
I didn't want to go full Monster, so I have my little cocktail cup with my concoction of a little gin and a little lime, and I'm gonna make a Monster Mule.
Dude, oh my god.
So
Monster
we'll.
Mule.
Oh, I'm spilling on my keyboard, but
I spilled too. Wow,
Yeah.
look at us.
What's
Okay.
funny is I do have a little fridge under my desk here, and it's full of Celsius and LaCroix. So I can actually grab a LaCroix. No, it's
Heck.
Waterloo today.
Yeah, dude, get that spicy water.
Waterloo's good. That feels on brand
Get that
too.
Lou in you. Get that
Yeah,
Lou in
dude.
you. Yeah.
Spicy water's the way to go. Dude, I should go grab one of those because I have a ton of those in my house right now.
I thought you got a Monster, Jared.
Dude,
I mean, I got one, but
I
when
should
Don
have got
was
a
like,
Monster.
when you said I'm not drinking a Monster that late, that's crazy.
Bro,
I literally texted them and said called it, and I love it. I love the
100%.
fact. Yeah, I love
Dude,
the
if
fact that
I
you want
had
to go
one
to
right
bed.
now, I would not. I guarantee. Even if I had one like at 4 p.m., I wouldn't be able to go to sleep.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna steal some of my kids' melatonin before I go to
Yeah,
bed, and
yeah,
hope that
dude.
works. Well, cheers to
Cheers.
You know,
Cheers. I got my Waterloo. Here you go.
whatever
Cheers,
this
guys.
thing is.
A Monster Mule, dude. I love that.
That actually slaps pretty hard.
That's a perfect name too.
Yeah,
Monster
that's
Mule?
great.
Yeah,
Good job. Good job, Blake.
So I think Grayson's gonna kind of run the bulk of this one. He's the most familiar with like your visual
I'm a
work.
super fan.
He is a
Sure.
super
Oh,
fan.
cool.
I mean, we grew up listening to your guys' music for a while, and the whole catalog of everything you've ever worked on. So yeah, I'll just have Greyson kind of take it away, and Jared and I will kind of interject, and we'll just see where this thing goes. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, so Blake texted me, I think it was at a Forever Green screening or something. He's like, I'm at Disney, Don Clark's here. And like, I don't think
You're
he
like,
quite
who?
knew. No, I mean, was like,
I knew of you
Don
from Demon
Clark.
Hunter, but other than that, I was like, what?
Yeah, he knew you. Yeah, I think he even said from Demon Hunter. I was like, dude, this guy has done all of the album artwork for every single band we grew up listening to. Every Tuesday morning when we were camping outside Best Buy waiting for Tooth and Nail and Solid State drops to then go in our rooms and listen to them and go through all the album artwork. So I'm so stoked. So
That's
seriously,
awesome, dude.
Thank you for doing this with us.
My pleasure, man. I love it. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. And my brother is, my partner in crime and all of that stuff. So many of probably a lot of the records we might talk about tonight, he's worked on. So
absolutely,
yeah.
So tell Ryan we said hi, and
for sure
we love.
He's getting ready to go on tour. They're getting ready to do their
that's so crazy.
a big tour. Yeah,
that's awesome. So if you don't mind, I kind of would love to start with some of the origin stuff and even get into some of the Aesterik stuff. Is that cool with you if we do that?
Totally.
Okay. First question, do you think you grew up in the greatest generation and there will never be one as good as our childhood or your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but yeah, I mean, well, I'm 50. I don't know how old you guys are, but 40?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Close,
I mean, I was just talking about this with a friend the other day. I mean, we're kind of the last generation to grow up like without the internet, but then also, so like the internet, kind of like came to fruition in 98, 99, 2000. So like at that point I was 22. So yeah, there's kind of this, life before the internet, and then like, bam, it hits and it changed my life, changed all of our lives. Right. Like, especially with, you brought up Aesterik and our first design company and all of that stuff. It was like the .com boom. In fact, that's how we even got to Seattle. Was we got a really cool .com gig that only lasted like 6 months, but that's what brought us to Seattle. So to answer your question, yes.
I agree. I mean, we talk about it sometimes, but just like, all of us, and it's funny because we're all Northern California, so we're Chico. Jared's been in Sacramento for the last 20 years, Jared?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is, so when I was reading through the album book, and it's just like all of these things just reminded me of our childhood. And Blake and I were, looking through CCS magazine, circling Tony Hawk's decks and all of the other stuff, and ordering Zero stickers and putting them on everything, skating to the skate park downtown. I mean, that was the greatest time. I mean, we just roamed our whole town nonstop, come home when the sun goes down.
Yep, totally, dude.
It was the best.
Now I won't let my kids out of the house without
totally
me knowing
cage in the back. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
So can you just give us a little background on the origin, of you going from being in a band? I think you were in high school, right?
Right after high, well, a couple years out of high school, actually. I was kind of a late bloomer. Yeah, my brother was, though.
Okay.
He was 16 and signed to Tooth and Nail.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He signed as Demon Hunter?
No.
He was in a band called Focal Point.
Oh.
And they were kind of so we grew up in Elk Grove, California. But let's see, we moved there in 1989. And that's a suburb of Sacramento. So, now it's huge, as Jared could probably attest to.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent sized city now.
Yeah, and when we moved there, it was not. Laguna Creek was fairly new, and that's now just taken over everything. But in our little suburb, town, there was obviously nothing to do, nothing going on, and there's probably 10 of us that kind of got into hardcore and just started playing music. And of course, if you're into hardcore, like, chances are you want to play it too. So it's like, we just immediately started like just forming little bands. And there's 2 bands that kind of came out of there. And Focal Point was the first band that kind of got signed. And that was because they played a show with Overcome. I don't know if you remember that band, Overcome from Arizona. First, Overcome was like the first Christian hardcore band Well, no, they'd be second, I think, behind like Focused, but like they were kind of a prominent, like one of the early Christian hardcore bands. And
Okay.
Focal Point played a show with Overcome, I believe, in Fresno or Bakersfield. And Overcome at the time was signed to Tooth and Nail, and they just loved Focal Point's set. And so Jason Stinson, the singer of Overcome, called Brandon, who owns Tooth and Nail, and said, you got to sign this band. They're awesome." And that was like the rest is history. We all lived at home, with my parents, and I remember when Brandon called and left a message and we were huge Tooth and Nail fan. I mean, my dad was a
Yeah.
pastor. Once we found hardcore and kind of spirit-filled hardcore, like my brother and I were just locked in. I mean, we were all about it.
Yeah.
So I remember when Brandon called, left a message that like, "Hey, heard you guys played with Overcome. I'd love to talk to you guys." And we just couldn't believe it, dude. It was, so I'm 4 years older than my brother. So I was 20 when he
Okay.
got that call, either
Just
19 or 20, because he was either 15 or 16. And
signed to tooth and nail at 15 or
signed it to
16 and
the, yeah, my
19 or
parents
20.
had to sign his contract. Yeah.
Wow.
And then shortly after, I started a band called Training for Utopia, which was very much like,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
were trying to do Coalesce, Today is the Day, Neurosis, weird stuff,
Yeah.
very noisy. And then my brother joined my band. Focal Point kind of fizzled out, and we got signed to Tooth and Nail. And then, yeah, so it's just like, it's this crazy. I honestly, like, looking back, it really is the foundation for everything I'm doing now.
That's
I met my
crazy.
wife. My wife worked at Tooth and Nail. We've been married 27 years.
Wow.
It's kind of like, it's definitely my origin story for sure. And that's how I met so many cool people. And my son's an amazing musician who's just blew past me in regards to any kind of musical talent. So yeah, dude, it's been a wild ride.
That's so cool. So then
Yeah.
how did it go from that? And then I think you did some of the artwork for, was it Training for Utopia's Inside album?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
We
how
did.
did
Yeah, I
that
did.
transition to more artwork with Tooth and Nail?
Yeah. So we had started, again, just like not really knowing what we were doing, but we just wanted to be part of the scene so bad. I loved, graphic design. I didn't even know like it was what it was called back then. But of
Yeah.
course, I had a Mac, at the house. My dad was a big Apple guy, and so we always had a Macintosh, or at the time, I think at the time, yeah, you remember the blue and
Oh yeah.
translucent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of
We had
course.
them too.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what I had, and
Yeah.
yeah, I got super into that, and uh Brandon Evil, who owned Tooth and Nail and still owns Tooth and
Yeah.
Nail, he was just like, "Hey, man, do you want to do more stuff for us?" And that's really kind of like where it started. It wasn't for a few years that until we moved to Seattle and really like, you know, basically kind of signed a contract with them to do a ton of records in like 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's another like huge step for my origin story, I guess, is just like my brother and I just did a ton of Tooth and Nail stuff, from like 2000 to 2008, because we had kind of like, we rented space from Tooth and Nail. Our office was in their building. It was very much like, we were doing everything there. My brother was actually employed by Tooth and Nail, and I kind of owned Aesterik with a buddy of mine. But we were all just kind of like friends, and we'd hang out all the time, go to lunch. And so like if Ryan didn't want to do the record, I would do the record. And it all said Aesterik Studio, like it was all very kind of incestuous, but it was different companies. Like
Hmm.
I was getting paid contract from Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail was paying my brother as like a salaried employee. So, but it was just
Wow.
like, it was the heyday, dude. It was just like so fun. And we were doing all these cool bands, and we'd do like a big band on Tooth and Nail, and then like some other big band that toured with them that was like on a major label would call, and it was just like one thing after another, and it was super cool.
Did it feel like a dream in the moment, or was it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stressful, or both?
No, it wasn't stressful because it was just like, we're 25 years old, just freaking going, like staying up late, uh, working on these records, like having the time of our life. Like it was just like, yeah, it felt like a
even
dream then, and it
imagine.
feels like a dream now. Like it was like that we even got to even do that, you know?
Yeah.
So
So did Asterix start out of like that initial, not the initial conversation, but that contract where Tooth and Nail was like, we want you to do a bunch of these albums, and you decided to form Asterix to have that, separate company that you could bill
yeah.
through, kind of?
Yeah, actually, it goes back about a year and a half, I think, before we moved to Seattle. My buddy Dimitri Argis, who
Mm.
is from Sacramento, he was in bands in Sacramento, and we just kind of like met at shows. And so he had the name Asterisk, and he was actually the one that introduced me to essentially the design boom on the internet, which is 1999, 2000. So like all
Yeah.
this cool stuff was happening on the internet. He was a web guy, and was doing super cool stuff, stuff I'd never seen before. And then he dug my stuff that I was doing for albums. So we kind of like partnered up, and we kind of adopted his name, the Aesterik Studio name. We did that for 5 years. That includes the move to Seattle. So we actually all moved to Seattle. My wife, my brother, me, Dimitri, his wife, we all moved to Seattle because we got like this cool .com job where we were making more money than we ever had at 23 years old. Um, that kind of fizzled out. But then that's when we kind of went to Brandon and said, "Hey, what if we did a bunch of records for you, and you got us for pennies on the dollar," because it was just like a huge win for us if we could actually solidify that. And but at that point, we were friends with Brandon, and everyone was we were hanging out all the time.
Yeah.
So
Can I
Go ahead.
interject?
Yeah.
Sorry. If I'm understanding the timeline right now, this is while you guys are also doing Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
So how do you balance, we have this award-winning full-time art show gig, art studio,
Yeah.
while also, every 2 years we're on an album cycle,
Yeah.
writing music, touring, going.
Yeah.
It was so we would shut down the studio when we would tour, and my brother and I would write the music in the like basically before work. So we'd get up at early in the morning, we meet at the studio, we'd have two little we'd have our electric guitars, and we would just like write this music. And then he's I've always made the joke that he's like he was the Batman and I'm the Robin. That's totally true. Like he's the brains and the genius behind the band, and I would kind of contribute riffs. But that's kind of how we pulled it off. And I think we both, even to this day, I think that's like it's a blessing and a curse that we're constantly just like making stuff. It's like the only thing we know how to do is like to, you know, as you know, I just launched this Western brand, and I have no business doing this, but it's like I don't we almost kind of don't know when to stop. And so I think back then, if I look back, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like what we're doing now, but it's it's before we had kids. And yeah, so I was in the band for 8 years, and now the band's been around for like 26 or something. So I've been out of the band a
Dang.
long time.
It's not the same without you, man. It's not.
Yeah, no, it's like 1,000 times better. Yeah. Dude, it's so good now. I'm like, I'd marvel at how good he is now. But yeah, dude, it was wild, but it was fun. We would take our wives, and like we didn't have kids at the time, and so like um it felt like summer, kind of like summer vacation or something. Like it was just kind of like, oh, let's go on tour. Um, but yeah, there's no way I could even like fathom doing that now.
That's
But
so crazy.
yeah.
So did you feel like at that moment you kind of knew that you were laying the foundation for what you were going to end up kind of doing forever in terms of like creating stuff all the time, or
For
did
sure.
you know? Yeah.
Well, I don't think I ever like thought about, and I still to this day, I don't really think about the amount of things I'm like constantly like, having my hand in creatively, but definitely could say that, that's, that was the path God had put me on. That's where I wanted to be. I was having a blast. I felt like I was pretty good at it. I could see, we had kind of visions of getting out of the music industry as well, because we knew that there was going to be a cap on kind of the budgets and kind of like
Yeah.
how creative we can get. I think even
Mhm.
like looking now at the breadth of work that we've done, it's like I don't I don't know how we could keep being original for so long, just with all the same types of bands and the same,
Yeah.
genres and stuff. And that was happening all the time. We would do a record and then the band would want another band would want something very similar. And we would kind of always try to steer them, what if we did this? And they'd be like,
Yeah.
no, we love what you did for Poison the Well, or,
Yep.
something like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
When you guys were in the process of designing for either yourselves or someone new or a band, was there any point in which like the music of that or the medium of which you were designing for influenced what you were doing? Or were you guys just going full on with your own brains, or did they have like a title of an album or something? Or
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we would always. So my brother's still very hands-on in music, and he just finished the new Muse record. It's you can pre-order all the stuff right now. I think it's all like public. So he's still doing a ton of stuff.
Dang.
He's Alice in Chains. He's like basically the art director for Alice in Chains. He does all of their stuff now. So we working in music, working for musicians. As you guys probably can attest to, I think it can be difficult because you're basically working with another artist. So, it can be sometimes they let us do anything, whatever you guys want. That rarely happens. It's very much like this is this piece of art that we have created, and we have a very specific idea, and it can be tough because it's like the industry is very kind of like unorganized, and there's so many players. There's the manager, the agent, the label guy, the bass player. There's everyone has a say, and it can get kind of excruciating. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to kind of like get out as well and kind of move into commercial art, is because the budgets were better, but also you're working with people that kind of place I think they place a higher value on you because you can do what they can't do. Whereas I think a lot of times bands are like, well, I'll do it. These guys know, they know Photoshop better than I do. So let's just, sometimes it can be a home run, man, where it's just like, okay, the music rules, we were inspired, they were super cool. And other times it's like excruciating. I think there's bands where we've done like 30 covers and they have never been, they were never happy. Or sometimes we do 30 covers and they would go back to number one. We would it's like, and it's like, number one is the one that we tried to sell them on. We're like, no, this is it. And then we had to do 29. So, I mean, those are all like in our early days where we kind of like were okay with being pushed around. I think now it's obviously different, but I think the music, hugely inspirational, but also I think more so like, is the band cool to work with? Do they give us like, do they treat us basically like just treat us with respect? A lot of times it doesn't happen. It's it can be wild.
Yeah. Especially with the, a lot of rock star mentality.
Yeah,
no matter how big the band is, it happens in music a lot. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So my background's in photography and Photoshop and color and all that. And so, so is my sister. So we grew up in a creative family. So my sister's got a master's degree in graphics and photography and painting and all this stuff. Nice. She's 8 years older than me, but all of us were really close. But when she was in college, I was in, I don't know, I guess junior high, and we were doing photo shoots in our basement all the time. Yeah. We kind of had this under the house basement that my dad and brother and I finished. And then it became a dark room, and it was a band practice studio, and where I would set up lights to do photo shoots and stuff. No joke, we were always looking at what Aesterik was putting out and then trying to figure out how you guys did it. Like, how did they blend the bodies together? How did they get those textures to work? Bleeding Through, I think Blake showed you some of my, fine art stuff.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Greyson gave me this and another one that is right there.
Dude,
but.
So I
that
mean,
rules.
So much of what I did in photography was inspired by what you and Ryan and what your whole crew were doing.
He would never tell me what it was he used until like a few months ago.
Oh,
yeah, I've done a few interviews about the Bleeding Through stuff. I think I don't know if we even. I think we talked about it in the book too.
You did,
like how we did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we were doing that. We figured some of that stuff out, and we're just doing it. No joke. I mimicked every photo in that. I mean, I've got a picture of my now wife with her arm blown off, and it's just dripping.
That's amazing.
I've got my dad
Like
with the back of his head blown off.
No way.
I've got the same close up of the teeth screaming, and that's my wife. So I mean, we were just copying
that
them
is
guys.
so awesome. Dude.
I remember we would go get the new albums. Like he was talking about, we'd hunt down at Best Buy.
Yeah.
And we'd go get new albums, and we'd all run back to the car, and Blake and I would like put in the CD, turn up the audio in the car, and Grayson's just flipping through the book.
Heck
Do you
yeah.
see this picture, guy?
Awesome.
Like we would all nerd out totally differently on the stuff you guys worked on.
That is so rad. I mean, we were doing the same thing. We would go to Best Buy or the Easy Street
Tower.
Records, and we would always every
Tower
Tuesday
Records.
Tower. Yeah,
Dimple
Tower on
Records,
Broadway
too.
in Sacramento.
Yep.
So we were. I mean, we were fans and still are just as much as we were just making the stuff. That's why it felt like we were in a dream, because we were just like we loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Now, you might disagree with this or not, but I feel like when we were looking at that stuff, nobody else in the industry was doing some of the techniques and things that you guys were doing. Who was inspiring you guys, and where were you getting a lot of those ideas from?
So there's a couple guys. So Stefan Sagmeister.
Okay.
He was a guy that. Are you familiar with him?
I'm not.
Okay, so he has a couple books out that came out early 2000s or late 90s. He's from New York. He's an eccentric guy, but he did a ton of CD packaging, like really cool, outside the box. Like we were ripping him off basically. Like any kind of weird jewel case, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Using the jewel case as like a piece of the art. Whenever, we had done that quite a bit.
Yeah.
We loved his stuff. So Stefan Sagmeister, another guy is Paul Brown. His company was called Bauda, Bauda. He did all the Marilyn Manson stuff. So he's like he's pretty well known in for the Manson stuff, but he did a ton of metal and just like kind of like darker stuff. And one of the guys at Tooth and Nail, a good friend of ours, who actually sang for the band Embodiment. I don't know if you remember Embodiment.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So his name's Chris McCadden. He's an artist, graphic designer who taught Ryan and I a bunch of tricks in Photoshop, and then went to go work for Bauda. So he's the one that even showed us who Bauda was. And so he moved to LA, learned a bunch from Paul, and then showed us a bunch of tricks in regards to layers and textures and all that kind of stuff, and just manipulating photography. So yeah, I would say honestly, those two guys were like massively influential, and we were just we were definitely like ripping off their stuff and bringing it into kind of like hardcore and Tooth and Nail world, and like what I would call like AP magazine, Warp Tour, MTV2 type stuff.
Love AP, even just for the band photos. Joey L was shooting stuff for bands.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's those two guys for sure. And there's Peter Seville and Vaughn Oliver. There's guys that had done stuff, from overseas that we loved. But in terms of like the real high conceptual Photoshop crazy stuff, it was those two guys.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to look into some of that.
Yeah, definitely should.
You just reminded me of one of the things I did in college. We had to do a self-portrait, and I always loved doing the studio work with like a lot of white stuff, but also really just Photoshop nice and clean. And I did one of me holding my own severed head.
Yes,
and I mean, it was like we were making fake blood, and then like picture of me holding my hair, and then you have to like cover your neck, and then we took a funnel and we were like pouring blood through that, so the blood's coming out that, and then you're just stitching those together. I mean, and it was all stuff that I was like figuring out that must have been how they did this stuff.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we would just shoot different, plates. I mean, the bleeding through artwork was actually very easy. Like once you figure out like how we did it, it was like, dude, just crank the contrast. It's all black and white. Like,
it's a garbage mask, basically.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we did so many things with like suit jackets and the head missing and this holding a heart and a skull. Like
I was looking at the book tonight with my wife as I was kind of just refreshing myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at this stuff. This is what Greyson did with, the black drip stuff. And my wife is just like, ew.
What is this?
was
What is this? What are you guys doing?
so
It's like a
funny.
disclaimer before they go into
Yeah.
the album artwork in the book.
Yeah.
When
So
we were
good.
putting the book together, we were just like, dude, we don't even want to include some of this stuff because it's so bad. Like even like the brand new artwork, which like that cover ended up becoming like so kind of famous in our, in that
The
world.
astronaut one.
The
The
Deja and
astronauts,
Yeah.
people
Tengu.
getting it tattooed. And when I look at that, I'm like, dude, it's so terrible. Like the shadow on the water and stuff. I think
I still love it.
yeah, I mean, people love it.
Yeah.
So, but like some of the poison the well stuff, so like there's some stuff that was just like I look at it, I'm like, dude, what was I thinking? But
It was so cool.
it was of its time, dude. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For going into some of the bands and stuff that would ask you, was it? I mean, it's probably a mixture of everything, but was it bands that you had toured with that knew, or was it labels coming to you saying, "Hey, our signees want to do the stuff you guys do," or was it just kind of a mixture of everything?
It was everything, dude. We
Yeah.
were getting like um it all started with Tooth and Nail. So like
Mhm.
trying to think of like the earliest Tooth and Nail stuff. I mean, Norma Jean at that point. So Norma Jean definitely the Oh God record kind of like
Yeah. That stuff's
really put us
wild.
on the map in regards to just like hyper,
Oh, I mean, it's
conceptual, like
it's
realism.
still amazing. Still
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. My brother did all of that. It's amazing.
Maybe some
And
Zayo.
that Zayo, yeah, Zayo would be like a huge. There you go.
Yes.
Look at that.
He's got a stack over there. I saw.
No,
Dude, I
no,
love
I
it.
don't have anything. I don't have anything. I'm gonna find a way for you to sign all these records that I don't have.
Do you live in Sacramento?
Heck yeah, dude.
Okay, my dad still is in Elk Grove, so maybe I'll have to
tight.
stop by.
That's
And you know
awesome.
that Jeremy's from there too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Super weird, dude.
crazy small world.
That
Like
is
when I
wild.
met him
Yeah.
back in 2008, I was like, dude, we grew up like an hour and a half apart, and we never
I know.
like that's so
I
wild.
know. I think Jeremy's like 10 to 15 years younger than me, so we like missed. I was a different like friend
Yeah.
group at that time, but
Yeah.
yeah. So honestly, it's like Zayo, Norma Jean, and stuff, and then like every other hardcore metal band was like seeing that, and labels were seeing it, and then we got a call for the Foo Fighters. That was like a pivotal, life-changing moment too, getting the call to do the Foo Fighters, because up till that point, it was all hardcore and metal and all the stuff we've been
Yeah.
talking about. So that was like so cool, and then that kind of like got us more like major label work.
Like the Kendrick and that
Kendrick
stuff.
and Alice in Chains and like P.O.D. and like some of the bigger stuff.
I
And
know.
then we were doing all kinds of like compilate, like we did like 20 records for EMI that were like Beach Boys, greatest hits, and Anthrax, and like we were getting calls to do all this stuff. So
Paying the
Wow.
bills. Paying the bills.
I know
What's
Greyson.
that?
Oh,
Oh, I just the work that pays the bills, dude.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
All
yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff they churn out 20 million copies of. You're like, yeah, we'll do that.
And there's like a zillion iterations of that. It's like
Yeah.
how many Beach Boys best ofs are there? It's like,
yeah.
yeah, we did a bunch of that stuff.
I know
That's
Grayson's real familiar with your visual work, but as I was looking over the last couple of weeks over the book and your credit lists, I was just getting pumped. I was like, oh, dude, they worked with them.
They
and
did
like,
this one?
You see Disney and NASA and like all this stuff.
Yes.
It's pretty wild, man. It's a pretty blessed career.
It
For
is,
sure.
man.
For sure.
I all glory to God. I like, that was kind of the goal, like I said, because I knew that I didn't know how we were going to get out of music because that's all we were doing. That's all I knew how to do.
Yeah.
But around 2004, 2005, kind of the what I would call like the gig poster explosion kind of happened, which is
Yeah.
I
around
remember.
Napster and streaming music and everything. Posters kind of skyrocketed, and that was kind of our ticket into more illustrative work, like really focusing more on illustration and adding adding color and having a lot more fun and levity, and adding. I just had my first child, like it was like just kind of like everything was kind of changing, and that's kind of where commercial clients started to see our stuff, is really through the poster work. So
Wow.
yeah, it was like what was happening is a lot of music, a lot of designers who were going to college who then got jobs like at agencies and Target and things like that, had owned our posters. And then we're like, hey, we should call these guys and see if they want to work on a Target project. So it all like beautifully kind of segued into that through music, but that was not a plan. That was all just kind of like happenstance. Yeah.
I remember when the poster thing was huge and we would go to shows and it's like, man, if we can get up to that wall before somebody else takes that off.
Totally,
I still have one from a Coheed and Under Oath show. It was November 4th of 2004, I think on election day. And it was this American flag. And I remember. I met Chris Dudley and I showed him a couple years ago. But it's a picture of an American flag and it's got a donkey and an elephant. And it says like Coheed and Cambria and Under Oath and 3 or something. And I still have that. It stuck with me for, 20.
Like a silk screen poster, right?
It's so cool.
Yeah.
All that stuff was so cool.
Is there
we did tons of those.
Is there a poster book anywhere in the future potentially?
We did I called them the gig poster cards, and we basically sold like 5x7. It was a set of 5x7 postcards that were posters, and that sold out fairly quickly. But there was like 100 in each thing. I probably
that's
have.
So cool.
I know I have a few here, but yeah, I debated on doing a book versus just more of like a kind of a cool collector's card set. That's what I ended up doing. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
super cool. Dude, so what do you feel like is different at large in the industry now versus then?
In music?
Yeah, music packaging. Is music packaging dead?
It's not dead, but I will say that when we were doing it, there was kind of a handful of studios in the world that were just doing albums. There's probably like 8, and I would venture to say maybe there's like 1 or 2 or 3. There's not it just kind of got I think with the advent of streaming, it's like anyone's game now, and it's like hey, and there are a lot of amazing artists that just they do all kinds of stuff. They don't just focus on albums, and so I think like that definitely changed the game. Spotify and streaming definitely like altered everything. It became like what's going to look good, small and Spotify, as opposed to a CD. But then like the vinyl boom happened, which is super cool, which like most bands don't care if it looks good on Spotify. They just like how's it look, how's the vinyl going to look, which is awesome. Yeah, I would say that there's just the studios that were just focusing on that are kind of gone, and then budgets have shrunk. Although they haven't shrunk that much. Like my brother's still super busy, and we were just talking about that the other day, and it's it seems to be fairly the same.
That's good.
Yeah, but I did see in the course of like when I was working on it, budgets were shifting and changing. And I mean, honestly, if you go back to like the 70s when Storm Thorgerson was doing Led Zeppelin stuff, those budgets were massive. They they were getting paid like 80 to 100 grand to do these records, and it was wild. And by the time we were doing stuff, I think probably the most we ever made on a record was like 30, and now I think like the average you could say is 10 if you're doing like an album now. So things definitely shift and change. I think the goal now is like, hey, we're going to have you do everything for the album cycle, not just the album. It's going to be all the singles. It's going to be art direction for the video and stage, and all that stuff. So I know my brother tries to do that whenever he can. Like, let's wrap the whole thing into the budget so we can, so it's a little bit better payday.
Yeah. Is that what Mind Reader is really focused on?
Yeah. Yep. So that's him and our buddy Kevin from Canada, and Kevin has been doing stuff for years as well. And it was something my brother pitched to me, and he's like, hey, what if we just kind of like started this separate wing? And I was like, yeah, dude, that would be awesome. We would, it made total sense to kind of launch this other wing of the company. And so, it's him and Kevin own it and run it. And we just kind of launched it. So
do you still work on that stuff with them?
No, I don't do any music anymore. Yeah, it's crazy. I think the last record I did was the Evergreen soundtrack vinyl. So, and that was fun.
Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah, it came out so cool.
I knew Jeremy and I were talking, and Nathan and I were talking about doing that album, and they were like, "What if we did a zoetrope type of thing?" And we're like, "That would be awesome." What if we did one side Josh Garrel's, score, other side do the soundtrack without the music, and just do full effects and Foley and that kind of stuff. And when we went to the screening or the cast and crew party, they had said that, like, hey, we printed out these records for everyone. You're all going to get one. But I had only seen Josh's posts of the just like straight up green vinyl. And they had mentioned that Wayne had done the zoetrope kind of animation on the thing. And I thought it was just that one. And when I opened it up with these guys on one episode of the podcast or whatever, and I just got so pumped that it was all there. I was not expecting that. It was so cool.
Wayne is a magician, dude.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
And to see that in person was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I even got to do anything with that project was just bananas. It was such a cool, amazing thing to be part of. But yeah, no, I don't do a ton of music anymore. It's we could talk about this if you want, but the company is just like grown and changed in ways that I never could have imagined. We have, I have more artists now working for us than I ever have. And um, I'm still doing a ton on my own, as a designer and illustrator, but we have, I'm finding myself doing a lot more kind of creative direction for brands and things like that. So yeah, it's been crazy. And in the face of AI and stuff and all this weird stuff that's going on, like we've never been busier. I think, like, in many regards, a lot of companies are kind of just, they're like, hey, these guys seem to know what they're doing. Like, it's kind of weird out there, like, have them do it. So yeah, it's been like really cool.
That's awesome.
I was going to ask about the AI thing. Are you, like, I probably know your thoughts on like the generative AI, but are you guys using any aspect of that as like a tool, or are you guys fully against it, or how are you kind of adapting to that new thing that we
totally using it? But I think, like, there's so many. It's the same. I feel like, I mean, AI in many ways has absolutely jumped the shark in regards to like technology in our lifetime. But I was just thinking, like, a lot of the stuff we're talking about right now, which is like, the album art that I had done, and kind of the crazy kind of hyper conceptual stuff. That a lot of that stuff now can just be done with AI. And actually, if you use that coupled with, Photoshop, and if you understand compositing and things like that, like, it is absolutely a tool. It has saved a ton of time. We don't use it. Let's see, how would I say this? I use it a lot for like helping me write things, which, like, on our website, I don't need to, like, I don't need to spend all day writing content for our website. Like, it's an amazing tool for that. We use it for, this is what we use it a ton for. We use it a ton for pitching concepts to clients. So, for instance, we're working with a bunch of restaurants in Nashville. So, obviously we're creating all of the art and the logos and all that stuff. But if I want to show them what it looks like as a sign, or, with this kind of lighting, and, it's been amazing for that. So in terms of like showing clients like the full spectrum of like how this art can live in the real world, it's amazing, because it would have taken, us days to kind of like create what we want to show them. I think another thing too is like using it, like, for instance, we're doing like a party for a client. So it's like, they're hosting a party for like 1,000 people at this big expo, and it's this one night event. And so we're compositing a bunch of stuff that we have in our archives, just like stuff that we've scanned, and all the stuff that I've had for like 20 years in our hard drives of like textures and all kinds of stuff, and then mixing it with some AI generated stuff, and then adding a texture and composite. It's we use it like we would with an old, we used to go to antique stores and buy zillions of magazines and scan all the pages. I feel like what AI has done is like, oh man, now we can kind of make anything we want. If I find something, that's what we used to do, is we would find like an old let's just say it's a skull that we liked in an old magazine. Well, then we would try to like, find stuff that looked like that would fit, and then so now you could just take this skull and be like, hey, I need a bicycle in this same style. And it's like, after a few prompts, it gets there. And so
Hmm.
can't are people abusing it? Absolutely. Are we gonna like, are magazines going to be full of AI models? Totally. Like all this stuff's going to happen simultaneously. Like I
Yeah.
realize that. In fact, it could be like our total downfall. It could destroy us. But I will say, as an artist, um, I think it's great in our like for what we do. There's nothing on our site, and we never will put anything on our site or ever ship anything that's just like an AI generated thing. It's
Right.
just like, it's everything is human made, but we are using it like we'd use Photoshop or Illustrator or anything like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, the writing part of it's bonkers. It's just like
It is crazy.
because it ends up learning who you are, and it writes it's just weird. As you
Yeah.
guys know, you guys have all played with it.
I had to use that for some self-review and colleague review stuff for end of the year stuff. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I work in technology, and I've seen it make entire teams of really smart people much, much dumber. Like they
Yeah,
just
that's
don't
true.
try anymore.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
they're like, "Whoa, why is my Copilot not working? I can't do anything without it." I was like, "You can't
That's
write
true.
an email?" Like,
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. There's like this video going around of like Prince talking about the art of playing guitar, and
Mhm.
then like this like AI bro guy talking about how we don't need to like learn how to do anything anymore. And it's like so beautiful what Prince is saying, and it's just like
Mhm.
juxtaposed against this idiot. Like it's true. Like I mean, anything. I mean, you could take like anything and abuse anything and
Mhm.
use it for
Yeah.
nefarious reasons or whatever. So I mean, you could even like look at the advent of the desktop computer. I mean, like walk down, downtown Memphis or downtown, like all those beautiful signs, right? They were all made by sign painters
Yeah.
that knew the craft of art, of design. They also knew how to fabricate.
Mhm.
Along comes the computer. What happens to all those towns that have all those great signs? They all now have crappy signs that were made at Kinko's,
Yep.
and so that
Yep.
basically leveled the playing field because it's like, well, now anyone can make a sign. I think that AI is no different, other than the fact that it's going to turn into Terminator one day. It's this, it's a similar thing where it's just like, okay, yeah, it's here, it's not
Yeah.
going away. Um, especially just as like a high functioning design agency that has to churn out lots of work, we absolutely do have to use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm an operations manager at a company that makes portraits for tombstones. So we
no
print,
way.
yeah. So we print on porcelain enameled steel plates, and we manufacture those in house. But we have
Wow.
a Photoshop team, and just the AI tools that are built in there now. We used to. I mean, you were cloning stuff. I mean, I'm sure you
Yeah.
remember Photoshop with the clone brush before
Oh
there was
yeah.
a preview, and you just had
Totally.
to guess. Like, I think that's going to line up.
Totally.
And so now we just select anything that's empty and you hit fill, and it just seamlessly blends that into the background, and it's perfect. Like, so stuff like that, it's
Stuff
great.
like that. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
I do think, like adding bleeds to images are super helpful.
Yep.
Um, I don't love Adobe just kind of going full throttle into like really kind of like advertising the fact that you can just type in, have a bird sitting on a branch and like you get this like illustration.
It's not that
I
perfect.
It's not, and it's also like I get why they're doing it because
Yeah.
they know that they have to because the next people are going to demand it. But I think I was just talking about this with another artist. It is fairly lame that the one, these are the tools that like we use as professionals, and they're, what they're slowly doing is it kind of making it, potentially making us obsolete. I don't think that's going to happen, but
Yeah,
it's
but
like
it's almost counter their own
it's
mission.
counterintuitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do like there is this kind of like the sky is falling mentality. I'm actually much more optimistic than I was. I do think that I think we're making ourselves more valuable, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I do think that like the value of For instance, if a brand were to go and, let's just say they post an ad on Instagram or they run a commercial during the Super Bowl and it's all AI, I think all four of us are going to roll our eyes at that. And I actually think I think
Yeah.
if you read the comments, I think most people are like us. They're like, seriously,
Yep.
really? And so like, I think that's going to happen forever. It's also going to be so like every company is going to do it, that when like Yeti says they're going to just work with humans, everyone's going to like back Yeti. So it's like,
That's true. Yeah.
I do think like, I just think we're fine. Other
Yeah.
than the fact that it's going to kill us all, I think we're
Right.
fine.
Exactly.
Other than Skynet is on its way to kill
Skynet
us
is
Oh,
all.
totally
yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, how could it not? Right?
I don't, I'm kind of worried on that end, to be honest with you. But in regards to my job, I'm not. In
Yeah.
regards to my life, I am, but not my
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so that's a good segue for kind of going into the next phase of Invisible Creature. So you mentioned, kind of wanting to get out of music. Did you kind of feel trapped in that industry, and did that lead to Invisible Creature, or what was the
Well,
mindset of
yeah.
that?
So I think like in 2005, Asterik was kind of um, shifting into kind of like two separate companies. It was like web work and album packaging. And
Okay.
Dimitri was my partner, and like I said, my brother was employed by Tooth and Nail, but still like on paper, he was associated with Asterik, and like he was part of like the brain trust, but he was being paid by Tooth and Nail. And Dimitri and I own the company together. Um, and we were kind of just like working on separate stuff all the time. So we would start getting like bigger web projects where, we'd have to go to a meeting at Microsoft, and like I didn't want to go do that because I was working on, some record or whatever. And so we mutually just kind of agreed to part ways. Still super good friends.
Good.
And then that's when my brother and I kind of were like, hey, what if we just start our own thing? No rules. Let's just like, hey man, if we like whatever we want to make, let's have this name that could just kind of be whatever. And I think we talk about it in the book. We just like, we love the idea of having like a mascot. Um, and so yeah, that's where Invisible Creature was born. My At that point, my brother was still working for Tooth and Nail though, so it was kind of like me going out as a freelancer with a name other than myself. So it's kind of like I was definitely worried because, I kind of built this thing with Dimitri, and here we are, kind of like 5 years later, starting over.
Mm.
But it totally took off in like ways I never imagined, and so that was kind of like we were talking about the poster boom. That was kind of like right around the same time as well.
Okay.
So, uh, yeah, that's the inception of Invisible Creature is just kind of like separating. I was focusing on more on just like illustration design, and Dimitri's crew kind of just like web UI, like that whole
Mm.
that whole world.
Did you find that it ended up being pretty easy to get other jobs outside of music and web? Like, I mean, it seemed like
Yeah,
right away you were doing like Target and like just huge companies.
yeah, dude. I don't like have. It's the weirdest thing because my story is really odd because we go from like, I didn't go to college. I just played in these hardcore bands, and then we like started this thing, and Um, I've never had to like pitch for work after I started Asterisk. I know it's just, I feel like a schmuck saying that, but,
That's so
uh,
cool. No, that's
um,
great.
so that's why I still kind of, I really like, I'm not perfect, but I really ground myself in gratitude because this whole story doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, once we
Yeah.
started IC, um, yeah, so I did an interview with a website called Grain Edit, and Grain Edit at the
Mm.
time was kind of like the kind of mid-century modern illustration blog. And
Okay.
so I did an interview, just a written interview with them, and that was a huge pivotal thing because every art director or creative director in that loves mid-century modern, whatever you want to call it, um, uh, followed that blog.
Okay.
And so I got a lot of like emails and kind of recognition and stuff like that after I did that interview, which you probably could still find it somewhere. But I think that I want to say that was like 2006.
Okay.
And then I did a record for this band called Hawk Nelson that got nominated for a Grammy. So that was like all illustration. That was another thing that got us like a bunch of work. And
That's cool.
so yeah, dude, it was just like this crazy little
That's crazy.
snowball effect. Yeah.
The three of us, I think we were all there, saw Hawk Nelson at Spirit West Coast, and they parachuted to the stage.
Dude, was that at the
Del Mar?
Del Mar? No, I heard about that, but
Yeah.
that's so crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
They parachuted and they all made it onto stage?
I think so. Right?
I don't know if they made it on stage, but it was probably Monterey, because I think that's the one we went to, because Del Mar's down here in San Diego.
Monterey.
That is wild, dude.
Isn't he like a worship pastor now, Jason Dunn, in like Tennessee or something? Or
No, he's in Canada.
Canada? Really? Oh.
Mhm.
They were a Canadian band, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought he like deconstructed out of the faith, though. I don't know, maybe not.
So
That's
many
every other band. That's every other band.
You're thinking of the guitarist.
Am I?
Well, no, Don's thinking of the guitarist.
Okay. There's
Okay.
somebody that I had some conversations with that I thought it was the Hawk. What's the other band that Hawk Nelson birthed? Did they birth someone?
Yeah, there's like FM Static, and those are the 1,000-Foot Krutch guys.
Yeah, that's
okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
I remember FM Static.
There was a bunch. There's kind of like a few different waves of punk rock on Tooth and Nail. You know, there's like the early stuff, MXPX, Value Pack, and then like FM Static, Hawk Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was the Rocket Summer ever on Tooth and Nail?
No,
I don't think they ever were. No.
Huh.
No, they were on
Militia Group.
They were on Militia, and then they signed to Island when they blew up.
That's right.
And they're indie now.
Man,
crazy.
Okay. So with Invisible Creature, are you approaching design in any different way than you were, with Aesterik and prior stuff, or is it a lot of the same conceptual kind of stuff, just towards different genres?
Yeah. Man, how has that changed? A lot. I'm trying to figure out how to. What we try to do is there's kind of like I have two different buckets basically that I see that I kind of plan. There's like what I call like the in-house projects, which are the things that we just make throughout the year that we sell on our website that are like very limited run, that are just super fun to make. So I try to keep a really, we make sure that we're always putting that stuff out just to kind of keep us engaged and have like these things that we want to make, just like stuff that we want to see on shelves and things like that. And then there's kind of like everything else, which is like, a client who comes to us and wants something. And we have a handful of like retainer clients. We work a lot in like hospitality now, which is just so random. It kind of went from punk rock to high-end fine dining and hospitality.
Wow.
But that's just like through relationships that I've built and people I've met that have like, brought us on board. So we do a lot in that world. And then I have, I work on books for Crossway. So we do, I have this book called The Biggest Story that is like now there's like 22 products that are kind of like part of that world that are basically children's Bibles.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of my life now as well. So there's kind of like the book stuff, there's the in-house stuff, and then there's anything else, which is just, clients coming to us, wanting work, which these days are, like I said, like a lot of restaurant work. We work for La Marzocco, like the espresso machines made in Italy. So we do a ton with them, which is just so weird.
I've seen your little wooden one.
Yeah.
That's so
we're
cool.
always kind of like, again, like the in-house things that we make, kind of like it's a circular thing that kind of like clients dig that. They want to make that for their clients. And so it's like, we're having a blast because it's like we make wood stuff for IC, and then like, La Marzocco wants to make a wood thing for their, brand. So
yeah.
One thing kind of leads to the next with that stuff. So we're working with the C.S. Lewis estate. We're working on the Space Trilogy from the 30s. We're doing all new books for them.
Whoa.
Which is like
That's
bucket list dream
crazy.
thing for me. I know.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
So yeah, I don't like. I'm just
Perlandria?
I never know who's going to call. What's
that? Is it called like Perlandria? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's this guy. This guy here.
Yeah.
So this
I stole
this
those
one
from my
came out.
dad.
This one came out in the 60s. This is by far my favorite one. They came out in 1938 and then like I think through 1945. But there's a bunch of different iterations, and basically they came to us and were like, "Hey, this has not been rebranded in years." And Greta Gerwig's doing the new Narnia, and they want this to come out and say, "Hey, you guys didn't even know this existed. This space trilogy he wrote." And to be honest with you, like I had never read it. I have it on my bookshelf, but it's one of his like least kind of like popular.
They're super good.
They're
I
super
was so
cool. If you're
surprised
super
into
weird.
it, you're super into it. But the general public never took to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I just bring that up because I just like again, I never know who's gonna kind of like ask us to work on stuff, and it's just a blast.
I could use some really cool like 24 by 48 one sheets of all those covers.
We're making them.
Dude,
That's actually part of our deal was like, hey, can we sell large format posters of the book covers? So
I'm a big fan of like Bottleneck and Mondo and all the stuff that they do for their vinyl and their posters and stuff.
Amazing.
Especially stuff that I get to work on and stuff. Like that would be so cool to have.
Maybe I missed it. When does that rebrand come out?
What's funny is I don't even know. I'm working on. I think my art is due in a month, and I know they want to have it come out before her film, and I don't know when that is coming out.
Okay.
I want to say early next year or later this year.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Question on something like the biggest story Bible like that. I also just got that a few weeks ago.
Oh, thank you.
That is like chock full of illustration after illustration after illustration. When you work on something like that magnitude of a project, what's that kind of like approval process like? Or are they just saying, hey, we know what you do, we trust it, go for it? Or are you having to like get sign off on every single thing? Or could you explain some of like those big projects versus like the one-off like poster?
Yeah, totally. Well, with most publishers, they for sure want sketches on everything, and they're gonna, have changes and draw overs, and I worked on the Incredibles little golden book for Random House, and they definitely, they had changes, and that made total sense. With this, I am very like blessed because Crossway gave me like all the freedom in the world, and I basically. Cool. The first book came out in 2015, so it's been a little over 10 years now. So they wanted to see kind of like what my idea was conceptually. In fact, they actually came to me asking if I had a recommendation for the book, and I basically raised my hand and I said, like, what if I did it? And they were like, okay, well, what do you think? What are you thinking? So once the style was approved, I did turn in sketches in the beginning, but then it just got like, it was just, first off, I hate sketching. I'm one of the few artists that just hates it. I just would rather like sell you on my idea and then get into the final art, which I realize is not really like how the world works.
Right.
So I still do sketches with most of my clients, but with that, since it's like over 500 pages, I just went full throttle. They trusted me. I would send stuff every few days. So like I would send like, here's 4 pages, here's another 4. That particular one was actually done during COVID. So it was like perfect timing. I had just, people weren't spending money on advertising. So I wasn't getting a bunch of calls from clients anyways. And so, the world shut down. I had already had this deal that I had been like procrastinating on. And it was like, okay, it's time to get to work. It's like, what's funny is when I negotiated for that particular project with them, it was like, okay, I had it all mapped out. I was like, this is going to take me 3 years, and I'll work on it like throughout the week when I'm not working on clients. And they're like, okay. So like 2.5 years goes by, and they're like, Don, we haven't seen anything. What's going on? Of course, I've already got the advance and spent the advance. And dude, and then COVID hits, and I'm like, dude, okay, God, I guess this is like where I jump in. Because it's like,
Wow.
man, how do you start a 500-page project that's fully illustrated? I was so scared to death, dude. I didn't like, because I had already done one book, but it was 100 pages, and I also did not want to repeat what I had done. Like, no artist wants to, like, make what they had just made.
Right.
So I just dug in, man. And with those types of books, I was so naive. Like, you can't just take 3 years and work on it sometimes. I mean, I can't. You have to really just be in the zone, and like, you know, every day you're working on it. And that's kind of
Cranking stuff out.
that's
Yeah.
what COVID allowed me to do. And so
You have to lock in, man.
what's that?
You have to lock in, man.
You have to lock in, dude. You have to
Yeah,
lock in,
dude.
bro. Yeah. That's the term. That's the new term. Yep. I did, dude. I locked in.
That's awesome.
So tell us, in that same realm, what role does faith play in your creativity and design and all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. I don't like I treated that Bible project like I treat any client project. I was just like, determined to make it beautiful. And I knew it was obviously going to be enjoyed and loved by Christians, but I also just, I wanted it regardless. And actually, I think I still get notes from people that are like, hey, or I'll be talking to someone like, I don't even believe I'm an atheist actually, but I bought your Bible because it's beautiful. And to me,
That's
that's
so
like,
cool.
that's such a cool thing to hear.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's woven throughout my whole life. And so I don't really see it like a sacred and secular cross, a line. It's just,
Yeah.
it's in everything that I do. So, um, yeah, I mean, again, like just telling my story. I mean, how could I not acknowledge like, my faith and all the wacky stuff I've been able to like do. I'm just like some schmuck from Northern California. So,
Aren't we all?
yeah.
Well,
So,
I think that's one thing that the three of us definitely appreciate that you're doing and that your brother's doing with Demon Hunter, where so many bands are taking a stance of like, oh yeah, that was what we used to and we don't anymore. But Demon Hunter's going full in, with their lyrics and their meanings and stuff. Like that's really cool, and it's very encouraging to see that.
Yeah.
You guys have stuck with it, because so many of the bands that we grew up
That we
listening
looked up to. Yeah.
are saying the opposite, or we weren't doing that, or we don't do it anymore. And I don't know if we were all just naive 15-year-olds thinking Tooth and Nail was like a Christian record label, or maybe they were, or maybe we were all just bamboozled or whatever.
There was also the bands that came out and said like, oh, we love this label, but we were told we had to be Christian to be on it.
All that stuff's coming out too, and it's like, my childhood was a farce or whatever.
Yeah. I do have lots of thoughts on it. I've been doing it for over half my life now, so I've just been in it forever. My dad was a pastor, and I know so many musicians. I think there's a handful of reasons why you guys bring that up, because it is something that's like disheartening for me as well, because most of my friends have deconstructed out of the faith. I just being on tour and knowing these bands, and I think a lot of times, unfortunately, I've seen this happen a lot, where like the band's fans piss them off, basically they basically get sick of Christian fans. And so that's not across the board in regards to like deconstruction, but I can say that like a lot of guys I know just kind of like got sick of the Christian industry or the fans or the machine or whatever. It's got sick of playing churches or Spirit or whatever. And there are lots of, the Christian music industry is no different than the music industry. There's all kinds of shady people everywhere, unfortunately.
Correct. Correct.
I mean, I can say like Brandon, there was never this mandate. I think like, I owe a lot to him in regards to my career, and I feel like I know him pretty well. He's not perfect, but he also there was never a mandate to like say or do anything. His whole vision was, I just want to, I want to release records by Christians who are making art. And so it wasn't a thing where like, I think like yeah, one of the guys should be a Christian. You know, the
The
main
main guy.
artist, you know, like the guy who's writing the lyrics or the guy who's writing most of the riffs or the
Mhm.
songs should be a Christian. But there's bands that were not, like
Oh
Frodis, and
yeah,
there's other bands that were not Christian that he signed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Agony scene,
Agony Scene, yeah. I mean, he
so
would
good
like,
though.
yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, we
I,
took
I
them on tour years ago.
yeah, I think pre-internet, and when places like Family Christian bookstores are selling albums from Tooth and Nail, you kind of just get in your mind before you can
Yeah.
really kind
Yeah.
of check all these things, like, oh, it's on Tooth and Nail, it's Christian, it's Solid State,
Yeah.
it's Christian.
Yeah,
And then you I remember one year Jared and I went to an Agony Scene show, and they had like this intro of like this. You could tell it was this elderly lady just doing a monologue, and she's dropping F-bombs and all this stuff.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
like,
yeah.
oh, this
It
is
was actually
wild.
it was at the boardwalk.
It was
in
at the
Orangevale.
boardwalk. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we played the
Yeah.
boardwalk.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
such
dude,
a good
that's
venue.
hilarious.
The
That was
first
a
place
good
I saw
venue.
Coheed and Cambria. Oh, so good.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think that's like a byproduct, an unfortunate kind of like byproduct of what Brandon created. It was like he made this thing where
Yeah.
parents felt it was totally like, hey, if it's got Tooth and Nail on the back, it's safe and it's sold in Christian bookstores. And
Right.
it's like, well, you can't. That just is not going to like work out well. It's like,
Right.
yes, some bands are and some
Yeah.
aren't,
Yeah.
or someone's going to say something on stage. It's going to like, it gets, us Christians like to just like put people on pedestals and like
Yep.
we build a little
Uh-huh.
wall and bubble around them,
Yeah.
and it's like our safe little spot. So I get that, for sure. And I also think like, there's also bands loved it, like Norma Jean and all these bands now. There's like this shock, value to like
Mm-hmm.
cussing on stage. It's like we used to be Christian and now we can say the F word. Like there.
Yeah.
I always like, I was at Furnace Fest last year, and it's just like, dude, like, okay, guys,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
like,
There was
What-
definitely some okay guys.
yeah,
That
for
were
sure.
just like, what?
But
like you sound like you're just 15 and you just learned
Yes.
to swear
Yes.
or whatever.
Yep.
It was like,
Dude.
this is not even how people talk. What are you doing?
No,
Yeah.
I know. It's, it's like, we can say it just like the other bands can. It's just like the whole. To me, it's just funny because I know like the mindset.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
all know that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, I don't. I think there's some. Obviously, there's just like, maybe a lot of these kids were never Christians to begin with, and they kind of
Yeah.
like got enamored with whatever. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it is crazy. I mean, like my buddy Jason Stinson, who I was just talking about, who sang for Overcome. He's leads worship at our church here in Phoenix. Like he's awesome.
cool.
There are like,
That's cool.
there's still people holding it down with JC, but
Yeah.
it's not as many.
Yeah. Josh Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
are
who's
you?
Josh Porter again?
Showbread. Josh dies.
Oh yeah.
Where are you in Phoenix right now? Or is that where you in Phoenix?
We live in a place called Gold Canyon, which is like Snowbird Central. It's where a lot of old people live, but we live east of Mesa, so we're close to Mesa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I went to
Yeah.
audio school at the conservatory out there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
In Mesa or in Tempe and Chandler. So
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
did about
Awesome.
a year out there. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love it, dude. Well, we were in Seattle for 24 years, so we love the distinct oppositeness of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold
That's
and
cool.
wet versus hot and
Yeah.
sunny.
yeah, and I'll take it, man. I'll
Jared,
take it.
Jared and I went to did we go to Warp Tour out there, Jared? When I was in school? We went to Warp Tour, right?
Yeah, I flew out there to record a little demo EP
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah,
And then
really?
we got. Oh yeah, we've been in a band together. Well, we're not in a band. Our band. We recorded and played shows in high school, and then after high school, I moved to Sacramento, and then he went to college, and Greyson was still in high school. So to stay in contact, I would like drive up and see Greyson and Blake up there, and then when Blake went to Arizona, I flew out there for a week.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I have this whole college. We can do whatever you want. Come out and record.
Dude, we had just
And
like
that is
SSLs at our disposal, and
Yeah.
That
it was so
rules.
cool.
Yep.
And tape machine.
I think my son's buddy goes there, and they just were doing stuff at the studio. Actually,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was
That's
so
awesome.
fun. Like midnight recording in a huge thing on a grand piano. Like, it was so
Yeah.
good. So good.
Yeah,
Golden days.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So What's it like working with your brother for so many years? Are we gonna make it?
Yeah, we just started working together. Like, what's this going to turn out to?
Well, yeah. So we do definitely own our own projects. So like we'll send stuff back and forth. Like, what do you think? What do you
Yeah.
dig? I mean, do you dig this? But um, he's pretty busy with Demon Hunter these days and music and mind reader stuff.
Yeah.
We definitely don't work. We're in different states, but yeah, it's um not exactly what it was like, but we're like totally opposite like personalities, which is why I think we get along so well. Um, he's very like, if you've watched any interviews or whatever, he's very like, he's quiet and kind of soft spoken. I'm kind of like the zany, immature guy that's 4 years older than him. I'm more like, type A guy. But no, it's awesome. I mean, we've been able to like, we were kind of reminiscing the other day about how like, man, how do we turn this like our teenage, love of the arts like into our job? Like, he's in they just toured with P.O.D in Brazil. He's like, dude, if I would have like, when he was 16 and like, hey, you're gonna tour with P.O.D in Brazil when you're 45 years old. I mean, it's
Right?
like,
So wild.
and it was like they got off the airplane in Brazil, and there's like fans like clamoring to get to the band. It's so wild, dude. He sent me a video of before the show, like a ton of bootleggers selling bootleg Demon Hunter stuff in Brazil. And they were like pumped, like the band was pumped, like buying tons of stuff. But it
That's
was
so
like,
cool.
you never see that kind of like fandom over here. But anyways, we're
Yeah,
just
not
like, dude,
anymore. Yeah.
it's wild. It's wild, like our career trajectory and path and stuff. So it's been amazing.
I went down
pretty cool.
a POD rabbit hole the other night on YouTube,
Yeah.
just watching
Yeah.
like Southtown and all the videos that I like
Bro.
grew up listening to.
So
I remember
good.
I
like
know.
when my parents were mad, I play bass. And when my parents were mad at me, they'd like send me to my room. So I would just like put on the Orange album of P.O.D and just strum that low B string, just super loud. And my dad came up to me one time. He's like, "You want me to take away your bass?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
Yeah. It's good
They
stuff.
were awesome, dude. I mean, they still are. It's just like, yeah, that satellite record was huge. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know if you guys remember, that came out on 9/11. Like we went and bought that record
Dang.
on 9/11 after the planes hit the tower. I remember we went to Best Buy after that. What were we doing? It was just like the shock of everything happening. They were like,
Yeah.
why don't we go buy some records?
I was
But yeah,
homeschooled in high school, but I still went to band practice with Jared. And I remember like my dad woke me up at like 7 something. He's like, "Hey, you should see this." And so like the TV's on or whatever. And we're on the West Coast, so I think everything was done by then. But like it was 2 p.m. and I still had to go to band practice. And so like I'm walking on the school campus and looking at people's doors and they're all just watching the news. I'm like, why
it was
am I
wild. So
why am
yeah,
I
you were
here?
like 14 or something, right? You were like,
Yeah, 2001.
We were
I would have been
sophomores.
15, 16-ish.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were sophomores.
Yeah,
Because
I was
I remember
13.
like being heartbroken watching that in history
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna throw shade, but I was like having this weird out of body experience because like I'm heartbroken. All my friends and classmates are freaking out.
Yeah.
And the history teacher is just like, she's sad, but she's super excited, like saying like, "We're watching history, guys. Aren't you so excited?"
You're like, can
And
you
I'm
say
just
that
like,
later, please?
yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not. My friends live in New York. Like, my
Yeah,
friend's
yeah.
dad
And there's
works in
that-
the building next door to that. Like, this is not good.
There's
It
that
was
one kid
surreal,
in the
dude.
back of the class like, "Hey, what was that flash right before the hit?" And you're like, "Who's this guy?"
And since then, all the dude, I have so many friends that are all conspiracy.
Oh,
yeah,
there's
so
too
wild.
many, dude.
You're like,
There's
"What
too
about
many.
Building 7? How did it go down?" You're like,
Oh
"What?"
gosh, dude, it's endless. It's endless.
It is.
No,
And
there's
now I'm
only
like-
building 1 and 2. What do you mean 7?
Well, my grandfather worked at NASA for 30 years, and now
Oh,
I'm like,
dang.
did we actually walk on the moon? I don't like. It's just
Right.
like I don't know.
I
I don't know.
I was just in New York with my daughter, who's a 7th grader, for their like history trip or whatever. And one of the moms was like a little bit on the conspiracy spectrum, and she's like, "Well, this building," and I was like, "Oh my gosh." It was wild.
Man, yeah, it's fun though. I like talking about that stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
what I believe. Like,
Sure.
I mean, but I'm just like, it's fun to just like
Nobody
speculate.
knows.
Yeah, my kids were asking about the moon the other day, and I was like, well, I think we landed on it.
Think so? Don't watch
know
the
anymore.
videos because they look really bad and cheesy,
Right?
but I think we did. Yeah. Well, dude, I remember when I'm so old. I remember when the Challenger space shuttle blew up. We all watched that in class. That was crazy.
Oh, that's gotta be wild.
That was 86, I think. So I was like 11. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that was wild.
Yeah.
What was it like getting to do a job for NASA, after your grandpa had done all those illustrations and stuff? Did that feel surreal?
Yeah, it was crazy. And what's funny is my buddy, do you guys remember a band called Crash Rickshaw on Tooth and Nail?
Oh,
They were like,
that's
they're kind of
familiar.
like, yeah, it's kind of like noisy punk stuff. There was like, they put out one record on Tooth and Nail.
Okay.
Anyways, the singer's name is Joby. He's like a friend of mine, and he worked at NASA, and he's the one that got me that job. And I was like, when it all kind of like it got green lit, I was like, dude, my family's gonna freak about this because my grandfather. And he was like, oh, I didn't even like know that. I was like, oh, bro, no, this is like this is like a huge lifetime like event for us.
That's so cool.
Dude, I have a whole story about that, which just like is the craziest thing. If we have time, I'll just share.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say we have all of the time.
We have all of the time.
So whatever you would like to contribute to, we are here for it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we asked for an hour and we're already well over. So if you want to keep going, we're on, dude.
I'm feeling good still. So
it's that Waterloo, dude.
That Waterloo, bro. So we get this. So the basically it's called the Visions of the Future, I think is the name of this series of posters, and they're doing, it's like 12 posters, and they wanted to know if we want to do 3 of the 12, and we're like, yes, of course. And so they're like, hey, just like let you know, technically all of this art is like public domain. So as soon as it comes out, we don't police it. You can download the posters for free on the NASA site, but you're going to see people like selling it and bootlegging it all over the internet. And I was like, and we're getting paid to still do it. And I was like, of course, I don't care. Like,
cool. Yeah.
Cool. So, we do it, and there's a specific date when it's like going to go live, and we're getting close to that date. And we're like, obviously we're getting excited to talk about it because it's going to go public. And, we hit the date, and like they haven't announced it yet. So I hit up Joby and I was like, hey dude, can we post this today? And he's like, yeah, they're still kind of like getting the site ready and everything, but go ahead and post it. And I was like, okay, cool. Because thinking they're gonna like launch, we'll post on Instagram, and then you guys will post on Instagram same day, la di da, whatever. Well, we post it, and their stuff is not up yet, and we had gotten the okay to do it. I didn't know that, like, that the people higher up than him didn't know that, but we post it, and it goes like crazy viral. Like probably within 15-20 minutes, we get an email from like the BBC and Fast Company, all this stuff, dude. And again, it shows you that like people go nuts for art with the NASA logo on it, because like why else would it go viral? And it's like we're fielding all these like questions and interviews, and like the local Seattle news like wants to come out and interview Ryan and I, and it's just it's crazy within like this 24-hour span. Well, because it's public domain, we also got the approval to sell the art on our website. And so when it goes viral, the only place you can buy it is on our site.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So, dude, it turned into like it was crazy. We usually sell, like, if I'm going to put out a poster for a band or something, we might sell 200 of like it's just, we don't have like, we're not doing Batman posters for like Mondo, we're not selling 10,000 posters. So we put this out, and like it is just, like people around the world are buying these prints. And it's the only place you can buy them. You can't download the art anywhere. Like there's no bootleggers, and all of the news and media and everything is going to us, not NASA, because their site was not out. So it's like two brothers from Seattle have created, like everything's like Don and Ryan Clark. And so the problem is like NASA is a taxpayer funded agency that like relies on the government. Like
Yeah.
they were so upset that like it wasn't, and I understand too. It's just like they this was all free for the public to consume and download. And because we had launched earlier, like a day early, we got all the publicity and all the stuff instead of them, even though it was like, of course it's NASA, but like their story of like why they wanted to put out this Visions of the Series poster got squashed because the virality of our stuff.
Oh
So
man.
the second part of that is we had sold so many posters that PayPal, who was like our little, that's who we used as the bank essentially. It's like Shopify now, but they had held all of our. It was because it went viral. They held all of the money, and they wouldn't like allow us to have any of it until they got tracking numbers
Oh,
my
wow.
for the
gosh.
posters, and then they were going to double check that like, okay, this company is legit, they actually made this money and sold, and delivered these posters. Well, we had no money to make the posters. Like
Yeah.
we had no money to ship like I had we had some money, but like
Sure.
we sold like 7,500 posters, which if you do the math is like a lot of money. We were selling for
Oh,
like
yeah.
$40 each.
Yeah.
And so here we are, like, the world is ordering this stuff, and our fans are used to just like getting stuff in a week or two. Well, like everyone wanted this thing. Like we live in an Amazon culture now, so like people are
Uh-huh.
like, "Where's my poster?" And we're like fighting with PayPal and like all this stuff. And anyway, it ended up working out. But like I had to borrow a bunch of money. I had to like ship a bunch of posters to a shipping company who then like billed me. They were like cool enough to like ship. Anyways, it was like this
Wow.
crazy virality, like viral moment that and then after that, we got a ton more work. Like that was super cool. But then everyone was wanting. It was like what I was talking about with the album art. Everyone wanted like the NASA thing, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we want one. So it was a cool problem to have, but we all also like, I think that's like where JJ Abrams found us. That's like where Brad Bird found us. Like all this
Mhm.
kind of cool stuff came from that. Um, but yeah, dude, that was just such a wild ride because we were like, what are we like? What's going on? And yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say like it ended up being this thing where like NASA was definitely pissed. I mean, like we found that out for people who worked there that it was like
Yeah.
this whole thing. But
That's funny.
anyways, yeah.
I saw the JJ Abrams quote on the website. What kind of work did you guys do for him?
We actually have not done any work for him. He
Oh.
actually like reached out to us. He during COVID ordered a bunch of stuff from us, and I was
Oh, that's
like,
so
I'm
cool.
sorry, is this going to the JJ Abrams? And it was. And I put a note in there, and like we emailed back and forth for a while. I still want to do something with him, but
Oh.
nothing's come to fruition. But when we did the new site, I emailed him, asked him if he wanted to do a testimonial, and he was like one of the quickest ones to write me back. I was like,
That's
thank
so
you.
cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Now you got to do
That's
like
that's my NASA story.
Gracie Abrams thing.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe that.
album art. I
She's
just found
freaking
out like
huge, dude.
3
Yeah.
months ago that they were related. Like
I know. Isn't that
love
crazy?
a lot
I had
of
no
her
clue.
stuff. And then I saw that, and I think I texted these guys. I was like, "Did you guys know?
Yeah,
her
I didn't know.
dad is the,
That's so
It's
funny.
so crazy, dude. Yeah, no, she's massive.
yeah,
That's a pretty cool NASA story, though.
oh yeah,
It is cool.
Oh,
yeah. I wish JJ would do more movies. I don't know like what he's up to, but yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't
Maybe
either.
the Rise of Skywalker got him or something.
I don't know, dude. Yeah.
I heard in your Nathan Presley interview that you had some things to say about Rise of Skywalker, but
And I probably,
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge Star Wars guy. I was kind of bummed at that film quite a bit, but
yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, you're a huge fan of that film because JJ might see this.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
He's
No, you're the biggest JJ fan.
Hey, dude, I think if you got JJ alone in a room, he would say that was probably like it wasn't an optimal filmmaking experience. Is probably what
Oh,
he
of
would.
course.
He'd be
Of
like,
course.
"What happened,
Dude,
That's
can
what
you
he would say.
imagine how many people were telling him like what to do? Like I just couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
I actually do like that movie a lot, but
Yeah.
we'll move on.
That's okay. That's okay.
that
There
was-
are awesome parts, dude.
That was my first foray into a Skywalker trilogy movie. Like I did Foley on that, and that was, to me, I have like so many awesome experiences with that.
Did you do Foley on that film?
Yeah, I did that, and I did
Yes.
Mandalorian.
Yes.
And it was so cool working on that. But as you're watching it and working on it, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why are they, what? She can heal people? What is this?
I know, dude. I know. And that's like why it hurts the soul when people just like dump on movies because there's
Yeah.
so many people making these things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Well-
you can't just go, that movie sucked. What, it's like the director's fault, blah, blah, blah. It's
Yeah.
like, dude,
No.
there's a lot of people.
So many
working
people
on
had to
these things.
sign off on that. They
Yeah.
were like, yeah, this is cool, including
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy and
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
above. Like, but what's wild is like to think of, they didn't have a story when
I
they
know.
started Ep
I
7.
know.
You're like,
I
wait,
know.
this is your bread and butter, your flagship title, and you're just gonna wing it? That's cool.
Well, it was like her thing was like, we're gonna go director driven for the trilogy, and we're gonna like work with these auteurs or whatever. And it was like, okay, on paper that sounds kind of cool, but you can't do that for the most beloved like franchise on the planet. Like,
And like you can have the directors and do all that cool stuff, but like at least have cohesive writing and tell
Yes.
the story you want to tell. Like then let them do their thing.
yeah,
I mean, you can do it, but then you reap the reward,
But
right?
then,
Yeah,
you end up where Star Wars
You
is
can
right
do
now.
whatever you want, but
that's true. I was all in, dude. I love The Force Awakens. I don't care what anyone says. I
Dude.
loved it. And then The Last Jedi, I think I saw that in the theater 9 times, and I still I know definitively that I don't like it, but there's so many great parts in it
There
that
is.
I'm like,
yeah.
I just think like the end of Force Awakens is like flawless in my opinion, with Luke reaching out and everything, and then
Yeah.
the toss of the saber, just everything after that. I was like,
what?
anyways. I was trying to figure out in the 9 times that I saw it, like what I thought about it. So anyways, yeah.
It's like when I tell my daughter, I know you're feeling a lot of big emotions right now, but we need to sort it out.
Totally. I'm
Well,
still feeling those emotions, dude.
Like-
and I do like now with all the like Star Wars on TV. I mean, I could talk Star Wars forever. But with all the Star Wars on TV, I do firmly believe it is a theatrical experience that should be in a theater. I think Mandalorian's great. I don't know. There was just so many bad television Star Wars shows that it's
I
like,
don't know
it's hard.
what happened.
There was
They
I
had
don't know.
bad
so
ones,
much
yeah.
garbage. Even within Mandalorian, there was some
Yeah.
cool episodes in season 1
Yeah.
and 2, and Boba Fett. Like there was a couple Mandalorian episodes within that, and those were cool. But
Yeah, but the Boba Fett thing and that like
We don't talk
Obi-Wan-
about Boba Fett. We don't talk
No,
about Boba
we
Fett.
don't talk about no.
get his name.
But
out
I
of your
will.
mouth.
I will be the first to see the Gosling one in the theater. I'm stoked on that one.
I'm
stoked.
excited about
Yeah.
that. Sean
There's a
Levy's
There's
good.
like a new Ray one coming out, which I don't know if that's going to be episode 10, but I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there for the Mandalorian the theatrical one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
But-
hope, like, with what the Spider-Man trailer just dropped, and you see a lot of like the Netflix TV characters in there, and I just hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't feel. I hope Mandalorian and Grogu doesn't feel like
Right.
made for TV movie.
Yeah.
Well, Star Wars started doing this thing where they're like breaking the fourth wall in regards to kind of like having, even in Mandalorian, there's just like these actors that are fans of the franchise that they would just like
Yeah,
get in the
like
show, and
Flea
it's like, why
and
are
Jack
you
Black
in it? Like,
and
you-
Lizzo.
yeah.
Those episodes, you're like, I am so taken out of anything
taken
that
out of
you
it.
maybe created that I just don't believe any of this.
Yeah, 100%.
When
I don't
a
know.
50-year-old man can't outrun like an 8-year-old girl and chase
No.
her through a forest and catch her,
No.
you're like, what are we doing here?
Do you
Yeah.
remember the motorcycle?
Listen, hold on,
It was so
Don.
bad.
No, I
Hold
don't
on.
bring up the motor. Are you talking about Boba Fett?
Hold on, Don, hold on. No,
Dude,
no, he's talking. No,
those are-
hold on. I have to call them out real quick. Sorry, Don. Blake, we talked about this scene. You're talking about Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
where Leia's running from the hunters.
Terrible.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
And you're like, whatever, dude, it's got to be for the story. And I was like, no, that's garbage.
You were talking to somebody else who wasn't me.
No,
Yeah.
dude. Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars character. And that show, we got to move on.
This
I'm
is
gonna
how the
start getting work
podcast
done.
goes.
I know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Dude,
Sorry to
no,
let
no.
you in on the housekeeping, Don.
Dude, I love it. I'm right there.
so-
I'm right there with you guys. I mean, I bled Star Wars for so long, and then I mean,
This is the tattoo I would have had, you know?
Rogue One is a flawless Star Wars
Oh,
film.
it's so
though,
good.
I will say.
Andor was fantastic.
Andor was good. Although I will say I like my Star Wars with lightsabers for sure.
True. Sure.
Andor was good though.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Star Wars done.
Okay. What are some big projects you're doing right now with Invisible Creature that you're excited about?
That you can talk about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the C.S. Lewis thing is freaking really cool.
I can't wait to see that. And have that book on the shelf.
There's more biggest story stuff coming out. That's kind of we're doing an Easter pop-up book, which is my first pop-up book ever.
Oh, cool.
I thought
is that on the website right now? I was reading about that.
Well, it's on Amazon. The cover's on Amazon, but I haven't. We haven't even started it yet. They're actually. I sketched everything out, and they're like the publishing. The people who make the books in China actually have a team that like just works on pop-up. So I'm starting to get in like the engineering behind my sketches, which is super cool because I've never done this
Easter's
before,
in like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, you got a couple weeks to knock this out.
Yeah, Easter's in 3 weeks, dude.
I'm already behind, I think. I'm already behind.
But you have the advance, though, right?
Yeah. Dude, that's long gone. That's long gone.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually sweating just thinking about doing it now.
It's like a call I have with the IRS later. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What are some other stuff? Let me just pull up my folder of stuff because I'm
tied.
Oh, we're working with the Tennessee Titans on some stuff. I can't probably say what it is, but they are building a $2 billion stadium right now. We're doing a bunch of stuff in the stadium. We just toured it last week in Nashville. It's bonkers.
After you're done with that, could you help the Rams out with their branding and logos
I would love
and stuff? Okay, great. Thanks.
So we're doing a ton of stuff in Nashville now because my buddy Will Guidera, who is
the restaurant owner.
Yes.
That's so crazy because I read that book with my leadership team
at
our company.
Cool.
And then I saw that you did the cards and then you did the companion book.
Yes.
Oh, that's so
cool.
He's like, he has brought me into his world. And actually, a lot of the work we're doing is because of him these days. So
the hospitality stuff, is that kind of how it started?
Yep.
Okay.
It actually started with Canlis Restaurant in Seattle. So Canlis, Brian Canlis, one of the Canlis brothers, his best friend is Will. And so I met Will through him. But we've been art directors at Canlis for like over 10 years. It's
that
probably
project was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the whole blog post you guys have is so cool with all the details.
It's an amazing restaurant. It's one of the nicest restaurants in the West Coast, maybe in the nation. And they're just an amazing family that runs it. Anyways, Brian recently left the restaurant. His brother Mark still runs it, but Brian now works in Nashville with Will. And so we do, like I said, like a lot of work now in Nashville because Will and Brian just moved to Nashville.
Okay.
So we're doing a lot of restaurant work in Nashville. So yeah, a ton of cool like stuff that we've really kind of like never done before, which is like restaurants from the ground up, like branding and interior and stuff like that. So that's all kind of happening in the next few years. Yeah.
That's a great book, Unreasonable Hospitality.
It is.
It's a really fun read, and it's really good.
I can probably show this. So this is his new book. This is the Field Guide.
Yes.
So this comes out next month, and we did this whole thing. So that he wanted this to feel kind of like an old, Boy Scout
like
kind of like
army manual or something.
Yeah. So like this whole thing is like full of art though.
Dude.
So and it's like 300 pages or something. So
all right,
that's really cool.
That's so cool. You'd like the book a lot, Blake.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a super good book. Yeah, over 1 million copies. I mean, like it's wild. Wow. Just like he threw the first pitch out at a Diamondbacks game last summer, and I got to go, and it's so cool just to like be around him because people are really love the book. And so like I was down on the field and players were coming up to him, management, like upper, office people at Diamondbacks are just I'm just like a fly on the wall listening to how much they love the book. So it's
Oh,
cool. It's
that's so
affected
cool.
all facets of business. And
Yeah, I mean, we use it as language in our company. It's like,
yeah.
what 5% can we do for this
Yeah,
client?
yeah.
You know?
It's so cool, dude.
Yeah,
And what's cool is I get to work on a lot of those like gifts that these companies are then doing for their. It's
yeah,
awesome. So yeah, super
that's
fun.
really cool. I hope you're doing concrete work for the Titans. My wife and I were looking at that. I can't even remember what it was.
Oh,
Sorry.
Newark,
Was it
the
an
Newark Airport.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was
I mean-
just there last week.
Oh yeah,
No
cool.
way.
Did you see it?
I was at, yeah, we were staying in Jersey.
Did you see the walls? Did you know he did it?
No, I'm sorry. I did. I was with a bunch of junior hires as the only male chaperone, so I was a little occupied. But yeah,
Yeah, no.
cool airport though.
The airport, yeah, it's funny because EWR people are like, they don't love. It's Newark, New Jersey. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, but it is like the terminal where they built that thing that we worked on is like apparently state of the art. I have not been to the terminal yet, but it was funny when we were out there. That was like a 5-year long process to actually from when I got hired to like when it got erected. And it's funny when we were out there when it was being built and like all the pieces are coming into place. There's all
Yeah.
these like all these union guys and Jersey guys out there putting up the stuff, and we were out there with cameras and everything making this documentary. And one of the guys was like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're just making a documentary about the art here. We worked on the art." And he looked up. He's like, "Huh, I didn't even notice that there's any art. No one's going to even notice. No one's going to even see this." I was like, "You're probably 100% right. Thank you. Like,
No.
thank you." But it was so perfect because it was like, it is this giant like rental car facility that like butts up against the freeway that's massive, and it does have art on it, but it's like, I guess if you're just, yeah, you probably won't notice it unless someone points it out.
That's fun.
It's cool.
It's on the rental car thing.
Yeah, so
It's-
if you rent a car, it's in that building. So if you leave,
Okay.
you'll
It's
that's cool.
gigantic
It's
concrete
giant, dude.
walls with
It's
his
giant.
design like carved out. I don't know what type. It's like stamped, but
It's called, they call it bas-relief, but
Yeah,
like
it is
it was made with
bas-relief.
a CNC, CNC
Dang.
machine made the molds, and then they poured concrete in the molds. It was a massive
what is it?
project.
Like 80 feet or something? Like just
It's longer
cranes
than that.
of panels.
Oh, yeah, that high. Yeah,
You
it's
know.
like it's 7 stories high. It's
Yeah,
the biggest.
7 stories
Holy
high.
cow!
It's the biggest bas-relief mural in the nation now.
My wife's an
Uh,
architectural drafter and interior designer.
Oh,
We were looking
dude.
at it, and she was like, "Who made those concrete panels? Do you remember
Yeah.
the name of the company
Yeah,
that
they're
made them?"
called they're called High Concrete, and they're in Pennsylvania.
Okay, I think
Yeah,
okay.
it was crazy because that usually when you're like on the freeway and you see like patterns or whatever on concrete, like it's just like one
Repeated,
repeating.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that like this has ever happened where they're all different pieces, different molds.
So cool.
Yeah, it was like a $2 million budget just to make the molds. It was wild.
That's
Holy
nuts.
cow.
Anyways, super cool.
That's cool.
The Titan stuff is not that, but it's definitely cool. It's like, yeah, it's inside the stadium. Yeah.
Okay, I want to be respectful of your time, so we won't go too much longer. If you got a little bit left in you,
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us how you got kind of involved in Forever Green, because I know that's how you met. Blake met you,
Yep.
and how did that all happen?
I'm a Jeremy Spears super fan. I think I own almost all his stuff. And so I think like
That's so cool.
we probably just like met on Instagram. Like we followed each other, and then I put out, I think the Bible came out. He like posted about that. He was like, we didn't really know each other then, but we were just like very like, I would repost his stuff. So I love it. And then, yeah, we just started talking and then just like exchange numbers, I think. And then he showed me like just a early draft of Forever Green. And I was just like, dude, amazing. And then he asked if I would, him and Nathan asked if I'd work on the end credits. I was like, seriously? I mean, again, talk about like just nervousness. Cause I'm like, okay, all these amazing artists that are, and Jeremy, and like, what exactly can I lend to this project? Like how,
Hmm.
what, I mean, seriously, like, I've turned down stuff that has been offered that's just so cool because like and I say no because I feel like I genuinely cannot like in my style and in my kind of like world like offer anything cool to it. So but with this I was like I gotta like be part of this. So um yeah, no, they asked and I said yes. And yeah, I mean, it was like the first time I'd ever done anything like that with film. Um, and
It's a
really,
great story.
I pitched kind of like a visual language to them. I'm like, obviously the world is all made out of wood in the film, but just like, how could that look graphically? Um, and like end credits to me are kind of like end pages of books. They're my favorite parts. So many times they're the best part of a film or like my favorite part. And like same with like
Yep.
beautiful books, you open the book and it's like the first thing you see.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just a chance to like really push the film stylistically, and just kind of like get outside of the box in regards to what you just saw
Mhm.
in the film. So um yeah, that's my little story. How the whole story of Forever Green is awesome. I tell it to creatives all the time just because it's just like such an amazing testament, I think, not only to our faith, but just like not having this large group of artists not, basically being told how to change things. Like
Yeah.
there weren't any suits in the room, kind of like
Yeah.
pushing us
Yeah.
around. So it's an amazing story, actually. The whole thing, not only the film, but the story of how it got made. I don't know if it's ever going to be replicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like 200 volunteers working
yeah.
on this awesome short film.
And I think it would be, I think he told me it'd be like $8 million if like they made this at
Whew.
Disney, like,
That's crazy.
and then,
Yeah.
they pass on it without watching it. And then it
That
goes and it
part
gets
was
nominated.
nuts. That was nuts.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they passed like, cause they were just,
Disney did?
yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, I don't think Disney got nominated for a animated short for Oscars this year. So it's like such a wild
That is
thing.
wild.
Wait,
Yeah.
I missed that detail. You're saying Disney passed on Forever Green, like made by some of their top animators that they do everything for?
Yeah. I think
And
so.
Wow.
The way that I understand it from Jeremy, I could, yeah, I mean, they would have to tell you, but they basically made a blanket statement that they were passing on all films
Mm.
that were made as part of this program at Disney. And yeah, I forgot what it's
Oh,
called, but Disney
interesting.
Disney
Co-pilot or
allows
something
their
like
artists
that.
to use they allow their artists to use their machines and their
oh,
tools
okay.
on off hours, and they essentially get the first right of refusal on whatever they make. And I think what ended up happening is they just were like, yeah, we're not actually looking at any films coming from this program.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense then.
I think
Yeah.
this one like just blew up exponentially, bigger than anyone that's been, and they're
Yeah.
like, we can't, or something.
Well,
But
what's
yeah.
crazy is like when they put it on YouTube, I was like, dude, you guys are going to get to 1 million. I know this thing's just going to spread. And I think it got up to like 500,000 the first week. And then they put it up like two more times.
Yeah.
And I think it got like 1 million views in a week or something like that. Like
Yeah, I think so.
during the Oscar race or whatever. And it was just like,
Yep.
and it was awesome because it was like they put it up at Christmas. And so everyone was at home watching it. And like people were sending me photos of their families crying, like watching it. Like it was
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I work at PlayStation right now, and I have, I posted once in our like Slack, like around that November time frame, and it was only up for a week, and some people miss it, and they're like, "How can we watch it?" So every time it's back up, I
Yeah.
tell them, and I get texts every now and then, be like, "Hey, I finally just got to watch it,"
Yeah.
and me and my partner are in tears or whatever.
Yeah.
And these
Yeah,
are like
yeah, yeah.
non-believers, and all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing.
It is. It's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. All right. Last, tell us about Westersen and how that's going, how it got started.
My wife calls it my hot rod. It's like like the thing I tinker with in the garage.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's like again going back to just probably should stop making things all the time. It's going cool. I definitely like in many ways just don't know what I'm doing. Like I feel like I'm like the cat who caught its tail. It's like, okay, I launched it now. What do I do with it? Um, it's yeah, the idea, it's on our site. It's on the Westersen site, but the idea is like, yeah, we own horses, and my girls, and my wife are very, very involved in that world, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I am as well, and I've fallen in love with that kind of the Western culture. I love riding horses and just being around, at rodeos, and we had a 10-acre farm in Seattle for 12 years that was super fun to work on, and so I just kind of like had this idea that like what if we kind of I love a lot of these different brands like Seeger and Howler Brothers. And I was like, what if we did something similar, but it was like we push it way more rodeo and ranch and like kind of cowboyish.
Yeah.
Those brands are awesome. But a lot of them are like more fishing and camping and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I knew all the artists that worked for those brands. So I went to those same artists, and they all said yes. And so, um,
Wow.
that was like in 2000. That was 2023. Here I am now, just launching it, just because obviously I have no time to do this. But um, yeah, it's just like wanting to do something that lived outside of graphic design illustration world. Something that like I could see. Uh, you know, uh, the guy who delivers our hay wearing. Like I just wanted it to be more for the everyman, like something that
Yeah.
could just be something you'd see at Boot Barn or whatever.
Yep.
And
Maybe some of those girls could wear some of your apparel so they cover up a little
exactly,
bit.
yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely what I'm realizing. Like, it's definitely I'm gonna need other people to step in and like try to help make this thing go, because it's like creating a whole. I'm so used to having like this brand and like this name or whatever, but now with this, it's like no one knows what it is, and so it's like all the designers know what it is, but like I need to get outside of designer world. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I am kind of like actively looking for like a marketing person to kind of like help push it. The ideal scenario would be that I'm still the creative director. I hire the artists, I put all this stuff together, but someone really like helps it, you know,
Kind of
take
runs
off.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some stores that have already reached out that want to like a store in Austin and one in Arizona and one in Nashville. They want to carry it, which is cool. Um, but
How,
yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen with it. I would like to make my money back, but, but I would like to also keep making stuff. I don't want to
Yeah.
just like put this out and then like, you know,
Yeah.
see it go away. So
when you're coming up with something that's like a passion project and it means something to you like that, that's kind of just for you, at least in inception, and how do you balance that with like the paying gigs and the clients, and how do you decide to take time to work on this over something else, or are you just doing like late hours, or
yeah,
how does that all
I
work?
like there is really no time to do this stuff, but there's also just no time to do any of my other like in-house like toys and IC stuff. I
Yeah.
just kind of like force it, and as I get older and just have more bigger priorities, bigger responsibilities, and care more about other things, it just takes me way longer. So like
Yeah.
this took over 3 years. Back in the day, I probably could have done this like in a year or something like that. But it's just I wanted to I wanted to make sure. I mean, I had a whole nother name that I couldn't get trademarked, so I had to make up a name.
Hmm.
That took a while. I wanted it to feel. My brother and I worked on this name forever, and I like
Mhm.
this. It was like we felt like, okay, this sounds like someone's last name. It also kind of like has Western in it, like all this stuff. So I got that trademarked. I got the bird logo trademarked. I got our tagline trademarked. I wanted to come into the game and like not have any of these like problems. I wanted to
Yeah.
like launch this thing. If I was going to invest in it, I wanted to do it the right way. So yeah, there's a lot of money just in that, and so no, it's just a matter of like finding the time that doesn't exist. Like yeah, I'd find suppliers like late at night looking on Google and just finding like who's making stuff, like
Yeah.
who should I work with, and I made so many like mistakes, and
Hmm.
you know so many like random hurdles, because again, like getting into like a true kind of apparel thing is like it's different than just putting out invisible creature merch
Yeah.
in many ways. um but yeah, there's some cool like some other brands have reached out that want to kind of do some collaborations that are also like they're much bigger than obviously Westersen, but they're also just kind of in the pocket of like boutique, aspirational outdoor clothing stuff that,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, sure, I'd love real cowboys to wear this stuff, but this stuff is made for wannabe cowboys. It's like guys like me, it's like, people
Yeah.
who love that the dream of the West, but just aren't necessarily doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you like country
Well,
music?
I do. I love country.
Do you have like a top 5 of what you're listening to right now?
Uh, Stephen Wilson Jr. is always at the top of my list. He's
so
like my
good.
favorite guy on the planet. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I love Charlie Crockett. In regards to newer guys, it's like Turnpike Troubadours, all that
Hmm.
stuff. Uh, but I'm more of like a Johnny Cash, and I love Marty Robbins and Johnny Horton and like all that old honky tonk kind of stuff. That's my favorite stuff.
That's
Do
cool.
you, do you like Red Clay Strays then?
Yes, I do
Yeah.
like them. Yeah. But I'm gonna put on Morgan Wallen sometimes.
Oh, I
There's
love
some
it.
of that stuff. Yeah.
I freaking mowed the
Hey,
lawn this
Uh-huh.
weekend listening
heck
to him.
yeah, dude. Dude, I'm not like if it's good, it's good. I mean, yeah, he gets a lot of hate, and he probably
Yeah.
doesn't write most of his stuff, but he's got a voice of a country angel. So
What's Tucker Wetmore?
no, I
It's
don't know who that is.
you probably have heard him, and he sounds
Okay.
so much like Morgan Wallen that you're
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
that's definitely
Yes.
got
Yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah,
Morgan
yeah.
Wallen.
I have heard that guy because there's a
Got
guy
like the
that sounds just
brunette
like him.
song. It's pretty
Yes, yes.
So good.
No, I love all that. My girls love all that stuff. So through
Yeah.
them, I've found out. Yeah, but Stephen
That's
Wilson
cool.
Jr. is like, I don't know.
It's like a new
He's
sound. Yeah.
yeah, he's so good. And like if you've ever lost anyone in your life to,
Mm.
someone who's died that you dearly love, like which is almost everyone. If you haven't, it will happen. His music um is just so good for the soul, like through the grieving process. Like he's great. So
He's
That's cool.
the one with the album of a couple covers, right?
there's a couple covers on like the deluxe edition. I mean, it's all on Spotify, but
Yeah.
he put
He
out a
did.
double album basically. Like
Mhm.
his first debut album is this double album that's like every song is flawless. He's actually married to the singer for Sixpence None the Richer.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
dang.
That's
Learn
pretty
something
And he
cool.
new.
was writing for other people before, but then uh his dad, who like the whole record's about his dad basically. His dad before he passed away was like, you just you people need to hear these songs from you. And he was
Yeah.
like very reluctant. And then he puts this out and it's just like genius.
Yeah.
It's such a unique way, the way he sings and like
Yeah.
doesn't open his mouth,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
he's got such volume that comes
I
out of
know.
it.
That's crazy.
I've
It's
seen
so
him
good.
live one time and it's
Oh,
just
cool.
flawless, dude. It's like absolutely, it's like the record, better than the record.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
Wow.
cool. If I know where Greyson's going to lead us, I just want to ask one more question.
Yes.
Looking at your website and seeing your office space where it's got the construction of it, all plywood, all very almost minimalist and modern, and what I was thinking, just like this organic material kind of thing, juxtaposed with all the stuff you have in your background, all your cool stuff. Did you kind of make it that way because that just gave you a blank kind of slate for how you start to design everything, or is it just an aesthetic you like?
Yeah, it's just like a clean aesthetic that I dig. My cousin is like a finished carpenter, and I
Oh, that's cool.
basically he came down here. I kind of just sketched out. We bought this new place, and there's a detached garage, and it was like my new office. And I didn't, when I walked in, I was like, okay, I kind of like roughly figured out how I'd like a design, but I just sketched out, see if he'd be down to work on it. He was out here for a month, staying at an Airbnb, and he just like built this out based on
That's so
some
cool.
sketches. And he's like he's very, very smart too, and just has awesome ideas. So I think like with my office and with like even the website, like I feel like it should be as clean and as like uh utilitarian as possible so that I can put all this colorful crap all over it. It's
Mhm.
like it's like even with the website we've had like what should be the visual language of the website? And I'm like, okay, all these questions, like always. And I'm like, it should just be like kind of like a clean slate, and let's let the art do all the talking, because we work in so many different fields. There's going to be like a wooden toy here. There's going to be a mural here. And I kind of like whether that's the design or the architecture of the studio or the website to just take the back seat. Even though like with this, I knew that I did want to have like these cubbies and compartments for, the stuff. And I just kind of let him do his thing. But yeah, that's a good question. I feel like just the less I have to think about, my actual furniture, the better, because I like just like displaying stuff everywhere. So
yeah, I was listening to the Nathan Presley podcast that you were on, and you said quite a few times, that's a good question. So I'm pumped that I just got a that's a good question.
It's funny, dude. My previous studio was this barn that I like remodeled. Okay, so
I've seen the outside. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, there's actually
cool.
like
saw the Lego mock-up too.
There's you guys should watch this. It's what's the company? So Chamberlain, who makes Lift Master garage door openers.
Yeah.
They did a documentary on me in the barn. So and
I gotta type that up.
We're
so
gonna
like
look that up.
yeah, it's called like garage. Just type in Garage Masters Invisible Creature.
Okay.
Anyways, they did a series on cool garages, and I tell this story all the time because it speaks volumes of like the stuff that I collect. But I had like this electrician come out one time, and he like walked in. I'd never met him, and he just walks in. He's like, "Man, this is a cool daycare." And dude, I was like, "You are right." I was like, "Sadly, it's just a grown man's toy collection." But man,
they're getting burned by the garage guy.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's pretty great.
Okay. Well, can we end with a speed round where you give us some quick answers?
Sure, go for it.
I'll have a handful of Blake, Jared, if you guys have any.
Yeah, I got one. I'll jump in at the last.
Okay. Favorite album artwork that you didn't create or that you wish you designed?
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Oof.
Okay. One album design that changed the way you think about design.
Oh gosh, it might be that one because there's no typography on the cover. We used to bring that up all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Where outside of music and graphic design do you find substantial inspiration?
Outside or with my family.
Okay. Deconstruction, good or bad?
Bad.
I'm just kidding.
It depends on where you want to spend eternity, but I would say
favorite typeface.
What an honest answer.
Favorite typeface, dude. Oh gosh. I love like kind of decorative type. So favorite typeface. I'm not gonna go with Helvetica. I can't say that.
It's a great film though.
It is a great film. Dude, favorite typeface. I should know this. What do I use I don't know. I'm going to, let's just say Knockout, because Knockout is very utilitarian.
Okay. So. Music genre you currently listen to the most?
Death metal. For real.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say a comment about that. Like, we're all emo, hardcore, growing up, and then we're sitting here talking about mowing lawns and country music.
What has happened to us?
What happened to us, dude?
No, it just fits. I'm still listening to metal though. I mean, I'm still listening to Under Oath when I'm lifting weights.
All the time.
We butter the bread with butter. Are you familiar with that?
No. Is that a band?
German hardcore band.
We butter the bread. What did you say?
We butter the bread with butter.
It's so good.
Greyson told me about them.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Okay, their latest album, check out that. It's so good.
Are you familiar with Electric Callboy?
No.
So Electric Callboy and We Butter the Bread with Butter kind of blew up because they covered each other's songs and they're different hardcore styles. They're so good, dude. You
gotta check it out.
You're gonna be humming those songs
for check days.
Yeah,
that rules.
All right. Then last, can I have your personal phone number? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, sure. Get it from Blake. Blake probably has it.
No, Blake's got one though.
Yeah, last one. Do you still think 50 Cent could take Ja Rule?
Dude, heck yeah. I think so. For
Probably.
sure.
Yeah, I think
Probably.
He took out Diddy pretty easy, so
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, dude.
Gosh.
well,
Thank you for going 2 hours with us.
Yeah.
This has
Yeah,
been
dude,
amazing.
yeah.
And no joke, a dream come true of mine. And I think,
man.
honestly, talking to you, hearing your humility about your work and everything, I think is a big reason why, a big contributing factor for people wanting to continue to work with you and ask you to work on these amazing projects, because your work is amazing, but you still have this humility that is just mind-blowing for
thanks, dude.
everything you've accomplished, you and Ryan. So
yeah.
Thank you, man.
I even wrote down in my notes, it's just very refreshing just to hear you talk and the language that you choose to speak and not speak in this world that's just covered with nobody. A lot of people just don't have integrity or whatever. So it was very cool to get to hear that and just hear the genuine.
No, I do feel like one of your earliest questions was like, do we live in the greatest, are we part of the greatest generation? I just feel like, man, yeah, because I am like, I feel like my parents did a pretty good job, and I'm trying to raise my kids that way. And you see like the, younger generation, and like, I don't know. I'm hopeful, but you do run into people that don't see the world, I think, like the four of us see it. That's like sad. So, yeah.
I had a whole question about parenthood. Maybe next time we'll have you on. But.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can have part 2. So
we'll do a brothers episode.
Maybe, yeah. So this is another crazy thing I'm doing this year is my son and I are starting a new death metal band, which is why I'm listening to all this death metal.
Oh my gosh.
Coolest dad ever, dude.
It's his band though. Like it's his band, and I'm just like barely keeping up. But we're recording in Chicago. We're putting out a split with Demon Hunter this year.
Are you going to Electric Lady?
No, we're going to Brick something. It's the guys that did. Are you familiar with like that band Pain of Truth, like hardcore band?
Mm-mm.
Okay, they do a bunch of hardcore metal, and my son was like, it'd be cool to work with this guy, and so we hit him up. But I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm following his lead, and it's
awesome.
It's the heaviest band I've ever been part of. It is absolutely brutal. I'm 51 years old this year. I'm putting out a death metal record.
That's the best.
So anyways, we should have part 2 after the record comes out.
Oh,
dude, okay.
Absolutely do that. Yes.
I brought a stack of CDs that all say Aesterik Studios or Invisible Creature.
Yeah. Dude, look at that.
So I dug through, just a couple. I dug through my old box tonight, and I was like, no, I have to read these. And then my son came over, and he's also getting into this stuff. And he was like, Dad, what are these? And I was like, these are CDs. Like, this is what music came on. And he was like, you mean like before Spotify? Yeah. And so like he's seen my growing vinyl collection, all this stuff. But like one of them that he's super into lately, the last couple months, because they reissued it on vinyl, was Secret and Whisper.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother did that one. Yep.
Yeah. And
dude,
like
that's so cool.
When he saw this and he was like, oh my gosh, Dad, when did you get that? I was like, I don't know. Let's look at this year real quick. 2008. And he was like, so like that's the original. And I was like, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is the original.
Yeah,
So-
That's so funny.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
so
to tell people I got married in the last century. It's just like so crazy.
Yeah.
We're all born in the 1900s.
Yeah, dude. Dinosaurs.
Well, thanks again.
Yeah, dude,
this has
that was
been
awesome.
Great.
You guys, this was a blast. Yeah. Anytime.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Thank you. Truly appreciate it. Quick
Yeah.
question just for our us putting this out. Do you mind if we use, or like if Greyson doctors up some of your Westersen artwork for the thumbnail and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Is that-
whatever you guys want. Yeah, you grab whatever you need. Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
have like headshot IC logo that you would send out for stuff like this?
Yeah, I have like a headshot it's actually, you know what, you could grab it on our site, but it's the same one I'm going to send you, but it no problem.
Okay,
That's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything you want us to cut or anything like that?
Yeah.
All of it? No, I'm kidding. No.
That's fine. This was worth it just to hear it. So that's fine.
Yeah, dude,
so
just
good.
as
No one else
just as
needs to hear this.
fanboys. Yeah, just as fanboys. Really, we just wanted to hang out.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
That's all it was.
I'm gay, dude. I'm cool with that. 100%.
Sweet.
No, we're good, man. Had a great convo.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck with everything you're working on.
Yep.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Keep in touch, you guys.
Thanks,
yeah. Yeah.
Will
Great
do.
talking with you
Will
guys.
do.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
man.
All right, dude.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Dude,
That was so cool.
I have to pee so bad.
I knew you were going to say that.
That was really awesome.
Yeah.
How
Well, for
did I
real,
do?
though?
Fine.
Yeah.
I thought it
Yeah,
went
you
well.
did good.
Oh yeah.
You
You
did
always
great.
do. You always do good.
Yeah.
That was like, I loved it.
He's so cool. I mean, it honestly feels so rare to find anybody like that.
Yeah, like
he
someone.
felt like just one of the dudes. Like
Yeah.
we were hanging out.
Yep.
That's the
Yeah.
best kind of interview.
Very legit. That's
Yep.
so cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Are we done? Is this threshold?
I mean, we can talk as long as you. I haven't finished my 1920 pour yet.
Do you need to pee and then we talk for a few more minutes, or are we calling it?
I'm down with that. Do you
Dude,
guys?
I got to pee. Pee
Okay.
break.
Pee break.
Pee break.
All right.
All right. I'll be right back.
So wild. Okay, so now, never mind. I'll ask that when Blake's back.
I think. Yeah.
What?
We can't talk with Blake gone. Okay.
I know.
Gosh.
We're not allowed to be friends or anything.
I
He
feel like
gets
I need
mad.
Taco Bell or something.
Bro, if we were together right now,
We would heck be getting some TB.
bro, we'd be crushing the TV, dude. Oh my gosh, that just okay, never mind. Hold on.
What?
We gotta wait till Blake's back, dude.
What is he pooping?
I don't know, dude. He said he's not slave to his body, but then his body's making him a slave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Dude, cheesy gordita crunch.
Gosh, dude.
Dude, little hot sauce.
I want that so bad right now.
Yeah, dude.
I'm hungry. I did not eat enough food today.
No, I'm in a weight cut right now. I had 3 meals and a snack, and they were all under 500 calories. Yeah, dude.
I should be doing that. I'm not.
hungry right now. I'm hungry.
Babe, go get Taco Bell. Babe, go get Taco Bell. Fine.
What'd you say?
She said, I don't want Taco Bell. DoorDash it.
Oh wait, no. Okay, hold on. Never mind. I was gonna say something stupid about how you're the dad, but you're not her dad, so it doesn't work. Oh my goodness.
Dude, I'm having some Smoke Eye Hill rye to celebrate.
Yeah, dude. That's good stuff. I heard back from them.
Are you going with Smoke Eye right now?
Yeah, dude, it's celebratory.
I only have 1924.
What do you mean you heard? Oh, you should have told me that.
1920.
1920.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
killed one.
going to have a little more of that.
You heard back from Smoke Eye, Jared?
Mm-hmm.
What'd they say?
That's what you were teasing us about?
No, that's not what I was teasing you about. I already told you that I don't like before.
Yeah.
That's what I was alluding to. But I reached out to them again.
Yep.
Just saying like, hey, I saw their new color hats on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean?
Uh-huh.
And Anna responded back and said like, hey, we love what you guys are doing. Thank you for reaching out. We'll definitely let you know when we're ready. And that's all she said.
Dope.
So,
Tight.
who knows what that means?
I need to take a picture of this.
While we were doing that interview, Benny Burt texted me. Ben Burt's
Who?
son.
Okay.
He said, I met Jeremy at the Oscars, and that's all I read.
Famous
Yeah.
audio Foley guy.
No, sound designer of Star Wars.
Okay.
His son. But I
Okay.
knew Benny at Skywalker.
Nice.
And he was real nice once I was let go and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what he said.
Read
That's
it.
cool. So, hey, Blake, one question.
Yep.
You want some Taco Bell right now?
Dude, I have some in the fridge. You want me to get it?
Shut up, dude. Shut up, dude. Oh my God.
That deal I told you about earlier, I still got a crunch wrap, a taco, and some nachos in the fridge.
I want it so bad.
Oh,
So
dude.
good.
We were talking about it. Oh, dude, cheesy gordita, little freaking Crunchwrap Supreme, dude.
Dude, those Crunchwrap Supremes are kind of big.
Yeah.
Like I don't usually get them, but it took me a while to eat it. Compared to like
yeah, nothing takes me a while to eat it.
Yeah, dude, you just weak, Blake. What are you talking about, dude?
Okay.
I almost ordered a giant sandwich today, but I was like, I can't. Did I text you guys that?
You didn't text us that. You texted us the picture of the one you did order.
Yeah.
Regular. There needs to be an in between that regular and
I know, like a 3/4 size.
Yeah, dude, give me like 2 more inches. I don't need another 6 inches. Just give me 2 more inches.
Give me a little bit more.
Yeah,
I'd take another 4 easy.
Okay, so what?
I was just gonna ask if you guys felt like it flowed pretty naturally. I was trying to not just go to like next interview question. You know?
No.
I thought it did really well. I still have probably half my questions I didn't ask.
I didn't get through all mine either.
I know, but I was like, oh, we've already passed some of that, and I don't want to go back.
We blew past an hour so quick.
Yeah,
yep.
That was so fun. That was really cool. Dawn was really awesome, and like we've already said, super genuine and just true to what they've proclaimed as a band. And I'm starting to work on this is why I'm doing the Glens, because I want to make little packages to send to guests. That'd be great.
So I'll get him one, but I also would really love to make him a custom enameled sign with like the invisible creature logo.
That'd be so cool.
I might try to do that.
I want that too.
What if you made it like a crossover logo, like invisible creature X threshold or something?
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be cool.
But also, this is so good. The 1920?
I think it might be my favorite bourbon.
It's been a while since I've had it. It's got vanilla and cherry.
Oh, it crushes,
which is
dude.
why I'm glad we went with it tonight. Honestly, if you would have asked me when we started this podcast, number one guest, who would you want? It probably would have been the Aesterik guys.
Ah, that's so cool. Well,
he's the one talking about bringing on Ryan.
So I'm retiring.
Like, I'm done. This is Threshold.
Okay, so when Dawn comes on, I'm just going to pee my pants. And then...
Perfect. As long as it's below frame, that's fine.
And then I'm going to jump right into politics.
Stand up and pee my pants.
See how that goes.